One, two.
Blockbuster Timmy. Blockbuster tonight.
Breaking news. It's heating up, and the competition is getting brutal in the wristwatch space.
It's fucking going down, Timbo.
Oh yeah. Tim Maso.
Tim Maso's great.
Legend.
Absolute legend.
But this guy is unwavering. He's an inspiration to us all. See, I don't know if you know, but this is kind of how I try to run this channel, with absolute conviction
and balls. The balls on this guy.
Exactly. We're sick and tired of playing nice with the competition. It's time to call out the bullshit. All right.
Did you get a new sound mixer? Because your audio, like talking into the mic while the music was playing, was perfect. It was flawless.
What? No way.
Yeah.
Let me see what settings I used. Maybe they fixed it. It might have been a problem with. Okay, well,
with the platform that we use to live stream.
Yeah, they might have fixed like a background bug that was causing that problem.
Cool.
But hey, guys, welcome to the show. We've got something really spicy for you. It's a new beginning in a way. I feel like
it's a new beginning, and it's also the beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end, yeah.
For some people.
Oh yeah, and yeah. But let's before we talk about the main subject of the day, let's get everybody's thoughts and opinions on Hodinkee versus WatchBox. How do you see these two platforms? How they've been to the watch collectors, right? Because there's a lot of mixed feelings here, right? The two websites look almost identical. They provide very similar service, but what's happening in behind the scenes couldn't have been more different. So let me just bring these two websites side by side. And okay, well, you know what? Let's start with Hodinkee. People have a lot of problems with Hodinkee, and we've got a clip to play that I showed it yesterday, but it's important to play this to set up what is happening. All right, so let's start with this. Cool, audio.
News update. Monday, March 4th. Hodinkee has laid off the CTO, the COO, the VIP, and also 10 staff members. Another round of cuts and another round of employees laid off. Now think about it this way. Those titles that I just named, they're on the masthead website right now. They're going to be gone. As of today, they are no longer employed. Now, you're thinking, well, what's going on with Hodinkee? What's going on with the market? We all know that the market is slow, consumership is down. Hodinkee, which once initially started as an editorial service, has also become a reseller with the acquisition of Crown and Caliber, and also being able to become an AD for other watches. But if they're not able to gain readership because of them selling out, so to speak, how can they hold these positions if money isn't coming in? Because again, for you to have money going out, salaries, paychecks, there has to be that amount of money coming in. But needless to say, another round of cuts, more employees gone, some unusual times ahead in the watch market. I'm sure more is to come from some of the other major companies out there.
So one thing, if I could critique one thing in this video, is that he assumes that the money is not coming in, right? Because he's assuming that because Hodinkee has sold out, their readership has dropped and not as many people are buying. But I think that has nothing to do with, I think it's just, hey, the market is drying up. The interest just generally dropping has nothing to do with them selling out. I think like some people are upset, but where else are they going to go? There's only so many of these websites, right, that bring that exclusive content. So I don't know. I don't think it's not about money coming in. I'm almost certain. I don't think it's because how much money that they fundraised when they went like public or when they sold the company, right? They're backed by Louis Vuitton, right? Oh, there's no way. I I don't think it's about this has any. I don't think this has anything to do with with the money, like that they can't afford to keep it
Oh, I think it
running.
does. I think it
Well,
absolutely does,
like,
and it does
the Crown
does
and
for 2.
Caliber department, yes.
Well,
Crown and Caliber department.
there's 2 things. There's 2 things.
Okay.
They're an authorized dealer for, I think, 20 brands, and
Mhm.
there's just general softness in the watch market. So those the 20 brands that they cover, I mean, they don't have authorized dealership status for Patek Philippe, Richard Mille, Rolex, AP. They work more in the mid tier, and those have been hit with a lot of softness over the past year. The second thing that you just mentioned is they had a very ill-timed and ill-fated acquisition of Crown and Caliber, where they paid at the absolute peak of the market, and the value of that inventory and the value of the secondary market just absolutely plummeted. So basically, the retail side of the operations, from what I've heard from insiders there, is basically unprofitable. So that has had a huge impact on inflow of cash and on profitability.
So this is them mostly jettisoning the reselling parts of their business model,
Yeah,
not so much the editorial.
editorial is probably okay, but they're downsizing like this is the fifth what they call whenever they have like a big layoffs like this, they give it a fancy acronym like WFA or WFR, which means like workforce reduction or workforce adjustment. Like we're conducting WFA activities, to right size to the size of the market. But basically, what it means is that the people that control the working capital of the company, which is basically their lenders, the people who've loaned them money or invested in the company, say, listen, you're very unprofitable. You need to, you're not going to be able to increase revenue. So the only thing that you can do to right size your costs with your revenue is cut costs to bring those in line. And then how do you do it? You cut people. And you have to, I mean, that's cutting a lot of people. It's probably cutting $1 million plus in salaries. And that's what you have to keep doing until you get to a point where revenue equals cost in order to break even.
What about this? Don't you think? Okay, let me ask you this question because I have a theory. I think this might have something to do with the recent possible filing for bankruptcy and then sudden rescue by John Mayer, Ed Sheeran, and Ben Clymer coming back in. How much are these guys charging to promote Hodinkee? Because Hodinkee had a lot of the staff, but I got to tell you, I didn't know anyone. There was no one that like Hodinkee was became it used to have Ben Clymer as a face of the company, but Jack Forrester left, and with those two guys gone, Hodinkee just became this just entity that has no face. There's nothing. I mean,
Well
it's a
said. Well
yeah.
said.
Well, I mean, look,
Well said.
I'm
I,
thinking it's because look, they're bringing in these heavy hitters, these ballers, right? And guess what? Paying for ballers ain't cheap. So maybe they're redirecting.
if they're investors, those people have contributed money to buy equity in the company. So it's not like they're being paid to say anything. They have a vested interest in talking up the company because they've invested money for part ownership of the company. So they want to see it do well, or else their investment will go kapooey.
So you think they're not
When
getting paid for this, or are they
not,
getting like
they're not
packages,
like
rescue packages?
who specifically? Who
Well,
do you
I don't
mean?
know. My Mayor, Ed Sheeran, because look, think about it. They three of them come back, and then boom, first thing, a G Shock collab with Ed Sheeran, right? Followed by a G Shock collab with Ben Clymer, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were. Well, there was already like three John Mayer G
Yeah.
Shock,
Look,
but
John Mayer is an investor. I think that's common knowledge that he's an investor in Hodinkee. So they're going to leverage him as much as possible to try and save the company. The guests that come on, I don't not so much. I don't think they're being compensated. I think Ed Sheeran is just a watch collector who wants to talk watches.
I don't understand how. Okay, okay. Look, I understand if they're jettisoning the parts that are really unprofitable, where like gray market, like flipping watches. Fine, that's I don't. I honestly, I don't blame them because look, everybody thought there was so much money in watch flipping, but unfortunately, they bought their stock at the Crown Caliber at the peak of the market, where the stuff was going for insane prices. Like people were buying and selling root beers for 30,000. Like that's not normal. You buy one at that price, and then if you don't sell it and it drops to 28, 26, people are even less likely to sell it. And now it's back to like 18,000. A lot of that inventory has been so devalued that maybe it's more beneficial from like a company's perspective
Shut it down.
to shut it down,
Basically
file it for
yeah.
bankruptcy, that department, and just say, hey, you know what, take it as a loss. Maybe they can salvage more because they can file like some kind of insurance, and maybe they can get more money out of those watches that they will never
Nope.
be able to sell for anything close to what they paid for them. Right? There's some kind of strategy here, but you know what? Like they're firing people. And look at WatchBox. WatchBox doesn't have to fire anyone. Somehow they were able to continue to sell watches and grow their editorial department.
Growing their editorial department with the acquisition of Jack Forrester, and they're also dramatically expanding their retail operations. They purchased Hyde Park Jewelers, they purchased Radcliffe Jewelers. They're now Rolex certified pre-owned enterprise. They rebranded as the 1916 company. So a couple of quick side notes. Number
Mhm.
one, I'm outside because it's an incredible day here
It's
in New York. It's like 77 degrees. I'm outside, so I have a little bit of background noise. There's kids playing in my neighborhood. People are enjoying the day. Number two, today does feature some sponsored promotion. I am a brand ambassador for Oliver Peoples. I am
oh,
sporting my Oliver Peoples Finlay glasses today. I also want to give a huge shout out to my co-brand ambassador, Roger Federer, who this week launched his Roger Federer collection with Oliver Peoples, available at oliverpeoples.com. Check it out today. He launched his Roger Federer line at the 96th Annual Academy Awards. And he's got a bunch of great styles, and huge shout out to my good friend Roger Federer, and congratulations on the launch of your new line. Available at oliverpeoples.com. Thank you.
hey, let me pull it up. Let's take a quick look. You know, he was on the. I was thinking, like, why is he wearing sunglasses at the Oscars? Is he trying to be as cool as I am wearing Oliver's People on the live stream? And it turns out he was a fan. He's a fanboy of the show. Shout out to Roger Federer. I
He's
think
a
this is why he
watches.
chose to go with Oliver's People, because this is what we wear on the show. That's what cool people wear. Boom.
Cool
Oh, I
people
like
wear
this one.
cool people wear
Look
Oliver
at
Peoples, and he's been a partner and a brand ambassador for Oliver Peoples for a while. But now he launched his own line, and
that.
it's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's really
Wow.
really great.
Look at these. They're colors of different Rolex dials. Like there's the champagne, you got the burgundy, you got the blue dial. There's even a mint green. It's pretty cool.
I
I think
prefer the more
he picked
classic
out.
styles. I don't like these kind of
That's Rolex
Oakley-ish.
green right there.
I don't really love these Oakley inspired kind of design. I like more of the classic, like the Lockman and the Finley and some of the ones that he sports on a regular
I
basis.
think
But
these are for playing tennis. Like when you're outside and you're doing something active, right? That's probably it.
one more thing, I can't see any of the comments in the chat because I'm outside and the screen is too bright
Oh,
isn't bright enough. So
it's
if there are any interesting comments or questions in the chat,
yeah. Let's
awesome, toss them our way. We'll do our best to answer them.
Let's pull up some. Oh, and by the way, let's thank our my main sponsor, RGC Pen Makers, Carolyn Martin. I'm actually using one of her pens right now. I was taking notes on all the awful things that Paul Thorpe was saying about me on his live stream. This is a great pen, handmade. Get yours.
Did you run out of ink?
Oh my god. I'm gonna need some refills. Carolyn, please send refills. There's just so much. My God. Look, I had to number my pages because they're on both sides, and I wanted to make sure it's all chronological. Oh, but anyways, thank you.
And finally, I did reach out to Hodinkee for comment. They
Oh,
do know that we're covering this story today. They were given an opportunity to comment, and I checked right before we went to air, and they have not commented. They have chosen not to give a public facing comment so far.
okay. That's fair enough. I don't
I
know
will check. I'll
anybody.
check again. I'll check again in 15, 20 minutes, see if they want to make a statement. And they're more than welcome to hop on. So if a representative from Hodinkee wants to jump on the panel and talk about their workforce reductions, changes that they're making to the company, how their strategy is changing, their go-to-market is being revamped, drop the link for them. They're more than happy to jump on and
Link for
explain.
Ben Clymer in the chat. Ben Clymer, hop on the stream. Let's talk some watches. Let's talk Hodinkee, and let's talk about the fiery comments from Tim Maso. Tim Maso
Wow.
has been going after Hodinkee. He sees what's going on, and he called it out.
Now I do have to share. I as soon as you put up the thumbnail for today's show, I
Yes.
got two messages, and one of them kind of illustrated a crazy conspiracy theory. I just want to get it out there right now and have you comment on it. But basically, it's. Let me see if I can read it.
Hey, Awesome Pond, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Tim and OC, here we go again. Okay.
What?
First, you brought down Luxury Bazaar, which we didn't. They still continue to operate. They're
still
legitimate.
Operating. Oh, I thought we brought it down.
We didn't do anything. I mean, what they did to their business is solely up to them. We didn't do anything. We simply reported on it.
I mean, Roman did, short of walking outside, getting a gas can, pouring gasoline all over his business, and setting it on fire with those Trump shoes. I mean, that was one match away from being as bad as. I mean, I'd say, look, they're still operating. Looks like they're changing up their website.
Now, the value of their business went from $100 million plus to somewhere between 16 and 22 million. So basically the business is not worth anything, as they're only worth as much as the wholesale value of the junk jewelry and, Nixon and Michelle watches that they have in inventory, which is worthless. Let's be honest.
And fake Ray-Bans, guys. Fake Ray-Bans.
Oh, come on, no. They don't. Come on.
They settled it out of court, right?
It's not fair. Roman said that he was not aware, but of course, how could you not be aware if you're receiving huge shipments from your distributor of counterfeit goods?
I wouldn't want to buy from a business person who's not aware of what's going on in his business place. Like,
so that part of the allegation is 100% false. We never did anything. We simply reported. I mean, we're not the ones who did a fake Rolex AD video. We didn't put up false charts that claimed that Hulks were going up in 2022 when they actually dropped in value. We didn't have
had a fake Rolex AD admitting that they're selling watches through backdoor, right? Like, that's just, and it turns out it was not. It was fake. It was. We didn't made it up. I mean, you can't do stuff like that.
Yeah, we didn't place a scammer who stole $500,000 from the watch community as a moderator of their Facebook group. We didn't create a video where their head of marketing said, we didn't force them. We didn't put a gun to their head and say, go on a video and say, we propped up Timepiece Gentleman. We told our viewers he was a legitimate dealer. We gave them plenty of business, and Roman is really good friends with him. We didn't make them do that.
We did not put up a painting in their office of that wizard sent to them, right? Like, we didn't do that. They're the ones who are vouching for these scammers. They're refusing to admit guilt and to change anything to make sure that this doesn't happen again in the future. They're like, no, we refuse to do anything about our business, about how we verify who we're doing business with and who we're recommending. Guys, it could have happened to anyone, right? And everybody's just supposed to take it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And Timmy.
Awesome Pond.
They also hired Marco, the worst guy ever.
Like, that was under Wizards' recommendation.
Yeah, but he's the worst, Timmy.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
The next part of the email says, and then you brought down Digital Watch Vault for obvious reasons, which
it was that was a failure to launch. I didn't have anything to do with that. I just showed what kind of failure it was. I had, like, it wasn't going to be, if I didn't talk about it, it would not be a booming business with hundreds of thousands watches being recorded every single day into the whatever the spreadsheet that they have running there. Right. Oh, who's this?
Someone joining from Hawaii. Sean.
Oh my God. Sean is on the beach relaxing, and we're talking about the wizard. What the hell? Sean, Sean, you're in the
Good morning.
paradise.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Man.
All right, just hang tight there. Unless you have something to add, we'll just enjoy the view. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
This is great view. I want to see how Sean is doing over there. Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay, and then then
Market.
it goes on.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just market $2. Did you see Watch Reporter video bashing you? I don't care about him.
Know who that
He's
is.
irrelevant. So let's. What are we doing?
Yeah, and so and then the next part is okay. So now, it's clear that you and OC are engaged in a coordinated campaign to destroy Hodinkee with character assassination.
Oh my God,
Now,
that's ridiculous.
Now then he goes on to talk about some close friends of ours who have a great company that's going to launch this year, and he tries to create this conspiracy theory that somehow, because this person is close friends, here's their theory. Okay,
Yeah. Oh my God,
because we're close friends with someone who's close friends with the head of 1916 Company. We're involved in a political campaign to target and discredit Hodinkee to the benefit of WatchBox and 1916 Company. That this is somehow a planned attack. We're coordinating with Tim Maso a hit piece, a
Oh my
political
God.
campaign against Hodinkee. Now, let me ask you, Tim, have you been asked or contacted by anybody or been directed in any way to cover this topic tonight?
No.
Have you been paid by anybody? Has anybody reached out to you
Crazy.
whatsoever from WatchBox, from 1916 Company, or from people we know who are close friends with them to cover this story? Yes or no?
No.
All right. Neither have I. This is a story that we're covering because
Well,
it's news, and that's
Yeah.
why we're covering it.
yeah, it's been public. There were some public posts that were brought to my attention, and I think a lot of people, I don't know, maybe they tried to cover them up, or maybe not even bring them up to anybody's attention. But I think in the watch space, we have to look at all these things because, I mean, it's revealing about how this industry works, what the industry leaders are saying, and what messages they're sending out into like the spaces that they occupy is important, because it trickles down, and it changes how the market works. So
Timmy,
yes.
one more thing. Mosso has been bashing Hodinkee since the last year. Last 2 years, Mosso is always bashing Hodinkee. So I
Really?
don't know what's the beef Mosso has with Hodinkee.
They're
Well, let's see.
competitors. They're competitors.
Competition, yeah. It's like competition, like me and Paul Thorpe, I guess. Maybe he thinks it's a competition. I don't see it as that, but that's why he's like coming after me, right? That's why he's calling me all those names, and that's why
Timmy, to be honest, Paul Thorpe genuinely hates you. I don't know why, but he has a very weird beef with you, Timbo.
yeah, I think he's obsessed. He needs to go outside and get some fresh air once in a while.
The fresh air is
Spending too much.
beautiful today. It's unbelievably nice today. I can't
Yeah.
believe how nice it is in New York City today.
I took a really nice walk. I got kicked out of a authorized dealer.
I heard.
Hey, stop filming!
It's not the well, it wasn't the first time you've been told to stop filming. Don't film me. Don't film me. And it
Stop
won't
filming.
won't be the last time, I bet.
Ah,
Listen,
it's-
I've never been more proud. I don't know Tim Maso personally. I've seen him at events. I've met him. I went to the opening of the WatchBox in New York City. I've seen
Yes.
him other places. Obviously, we go to watch industry events and Watches and Wonders, etc. So we run in the same circles, although we're not anywhere near Tim Maso and his level of stature and journalistic integrity in the industry. But I do respect him a lot. I think his watch knowledge is amazing. I think he makes fantastic videos. I think he's one of 1916 Company's best assets. He and Mike Manjos are very, very smart guys, and I have a lot of respect for the team there. If it sounds like I'm simping for 1916 Company, it's because I do consider them one of the leaders in the secondary market space. with unparalleled reputation. And if you ask me to choose between 1916 Company and Hodinkee, or 1916 Company and Luxury Bazaar, I mean, it's no question. It's not even a comparison. One is a legitimate, bona fide, respected, authorized dealer and secondary dealer in terms of Goffberg, Radcliffe, Hyde Park Jewelers, WatchBox, a formidable company with impeccable leadership and executive management. And Hodinkee is basically in shambles and on the ropes and could be gone any minute.
OC, can I tell you one thing?
Of course.
No shame on simping, man. I simp for Brit Pierce, so no shame.
Britt Pierce is terrific.
Britt Pierce is the future. Sean, thank you so much for a massive $20 super chat. Cheers to the best investigative team in the watch community, digging and reporting the truth. Maloha, or is it aloha?
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate it, guys. If you enjoyed this show, if you enjoy, getting the facts, support this channel by super chatting or becoming members, and you can even do support for free by hitting the upvote button. We've got 163 people watching the stream. Let's get to 100 upvotes. I would really appreciate it. Cool. Yeah. So I don't know how long Tim Maso has been critical. I mean, Awesome Pawn seems to say that Tim Maso has been going after Hodinkee for about a year. And you know what? I don't blame him. I think a lot of people were going after Hodinkee after Ben Clymer left, and when Jack Forrester left, there was no one there. It's like it's an empty place.
When I came into the watch hobby, which was 4 years ago, I'm not like a guy who's been in the business for decades. I just started collecting like 4 years ago. Hodinkee was not something that I particularly liked. They always seemed too corporate to me. I didn't even know that they sold straps and sold watches for a long time. I just saw their articles. I like their articles. I also like Monochrome's articles. And I like occasionally they'd have like a talking watches with an interview, which, listen, the one that they did with John. Yeah, with a celebrity. The two that they did with John Mayer are iconic. I mean, and John Mayer may not like it, but that one where he established those two Daytonas, the white dial with the white gold with the blue dial, and the yellow gold with the green dial. Those became huge because he happened to have
videos had millions of views.
Yeah, they're very influential.
They defined. Those videos have been defining for the watch world. How the watch world was shaped, it was around those videos that went crazy viral. The watches highlighted in the videos that Hodinkee decided to spotlight became icons. And
absolutely.
And they pushed the market in a certain direction. But then suddenly, when they went hard into gray market, they lost that zeal. Suddenly, it was every watch was great. There was no longer direction. There was no longer leadership.
And what I heard is that their editorial became too inextricably tied with the retail end of the business, and that they weren't covering, they weren't giving fair reviews because some of the watches they sold, and then they were blacklisting or blackballing reviewing certain brands because, like, for example, de Bethune, which happens to be owned by 1916 Company, right? So they wouldn't promote or review de Bethune because it was associated with a competitor, which kind of makes sense. You don't. That's I get it.
It's not good. It actually shows your biases. You should be able to review your competition fairly. That's what people want. They want unbiased reporting. So Hodinkee should be doing everything they can to unbias and unshackle their writers. They have to be fair. I mean, if these articles are not fair, then what's the point? Then why are people reading it? To just get brainwashed to buy any and every watch that comes across? Yeah. Like this garbage. Yes.
Yeah. Timmy, you also have to talk about LVMH. They own a huge stake in Hodinkee. So that might be the reason why they are not featuring de Bethune and their competitors.
But I think Tim's point is that when you run an editorial organization, you have to separate publishing, which is retail and sales, from the editorial side. That's how you achieve journalistic integrity and you remove any perception of bias.
And they
so
should be even more critical of LVMH to prove to their audience that they're not being biased against that they're not being influenced by their relationship with LVMH, right? They should be like fair and critical of themselves. That's how people can really trust these publications. Otherwise, I mean, it's like everything you read, every article is very positive, and people can see through it.
So I mean,
People are not stupid.
In your position, in your perspective, Tim, like what is it that where did Hodinkee kind of fall off the rails? What did they do to kind of make it seem like they weren't
Conflict of interest.
That's what it is. Yeah, for you.
Conflict
what about you?
Of interest. You can't. Yeah, it's simple as that. If you're getting money to sell watches, you're never going to be critical of them because you're not giving a fair assessment of a watch. If you're paid to promote that watch, if somebody sent me a watch and said, "Hey Tim, you can keep it, and we'll give you also $1,000 to go with it, and for you to make a video," right? Oh, I'll be like, "Wow, very nice." And you know what? That would influence me. That would, the fact that they're giving me money, that would influence me by definition. I mean, it's just, and what they need to do is to kind of connect people with watches and give them ability to, critique the watch without the punishment or repercussion of that the next watch we're not going to send you for review. We'll send it to someone else who behaves really nice.
Right.
So, yeah, I think they need to separate those companies. The management cannot be connected, right? Their editorial.
Well, I think there won't be another half to separate pretty soon because the retail side is basically underwater, and they've shuttered pretty much most of the people involved there. So I guess is that they're winding down that side of the business, and they're just going to squeeze down so small that they'll just be editorial and just rely on advertising money, and be much smaller and just be focused on stories and reviews.
Yep.
Now,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. This is a natural pause. Feel free.
Okay, so I think they will become lean because all the staff at their Crown and Caliber office in Atlanta, they are basically fired. So they don't have any staff at Crown and Caliber now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that business is basically, they bought it at the wrong time. It was a completely ill-fated transaction. They bought it at the peak of the market. Doomed, absolutely doomed. And so
like
now,
a rocket that will blow up, that will blow up.
Right. So Awesome Pawn has said that Tim Maso has been very critical of Hodinkee for the past year, sensing that there's blood in the water after this latest round of layoffs. Tim Maso ripped into them pretty hard.
The knives are out.
Well, knives are out, and we'll share what Tim Maso said in a series of posts recently.
Yeah, these are threads from Facebook, I believe. But before we do that, shout out to Pedro Bermudez for a $10 super chat. Hi, Tim and the panel. Keep the fight for the community against the cartel. And Red, show kept strong, bro. Won't fall against those clowns from UK. Yeah. Stay strong, Red. Don't let the clowns get you down. And Alan, you too. Don't be afraid of these guys. They're just acting like tough guys. They're nothing in reality.
Yeah, that's not true. He didn't. I was going to say that if a representative from the 1916 company wants to jump on the panel, they're also invited. I know that there are some people from 1916 company watching tonight. So obviously, Tim also doesn't make public appearances. He usually doesn't jump on live streams or conduct interviews, and that's totally fine. But if another representative of 1916 company wants to share their perspective, or if they have a public-facing statement that they want to enter into the chat, feel free to do so. I think you're limited to 150 characters, but feel free to either enter your statement or to send it to hello@timwright.com.
Okay, I'll drop the link in the chat if somebody wants to join us, or if anybody else wants to join us. So let's start with this first.
Let me just check my messages real quick and just make sure that Hodinkee has not responded. Okay, no comment from Hodinkee on today. I did get a nice note from 1916 company acknowledging that they're watching the show tonight.
Very interesting.
So, do you want me to read this? You want me to read this post?
Yeah, read it. Yeah.
All right. So this is one of the posts that Tim Maso made on Facebook. He says, Ben, referring to Ben Clymer, the co-founder or the founder and co-chairman or founder and chairman of Hodinkee, Ben Clymer's recent resurfacing on YouTube and podcasts looks like a Hail Mary from ownership to reconnect with the audience from the site's peak a decade ago. He's been playing golf and buying cars for the last few years after getting his payout up front. Wow, these are fighting words, Tim.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, but you have to live in the watch space full time and keep your head in the game if you want to remain relevant to the kind of audience that made Hodinkee what it was for the first 10 years. Stopping by for a yearly interview with Jean-Claude Bivet or whoever's CEO at AP these days isn't enough. That's a fucking brutal. That's a knife. That's a knife. That's a fucking knife turning statement, Tim.
Jesus. This is more vicious than some of the statements Paul Thorpe says about me. You know,
Tim Masso's qualified to be on the panel of the hate streams with that kind of attitude.
Tim Maso is going to be doing interview on the hate streams later this week.
Tim, you can have a show with Maso, man. Tim and Tim show.
What a fantastic! I mean, do we don't want to dissect that line by line a little bit? I mean, first of all,
well, yeah.
He says that basically he calls Ben's appearances on YouTube videos a Hail Mary. Like, in other words, like this is the last ditch effort.
It is. It actually
save
was.
the company.
That's how everybody's. You know.
Yeah. He goes on to say that they haven't been in touch with the watch collecting community for a while. That he's too busy personally, not connected to the watch industry or the watch happenings, but he's just doing things for himself because he got a big cash payout, which is it's kind of a personal attack, maybe. Like, hey, you cashed out, you sold out, and now you're, doing stuff for yourself and you're not paying attention. And now you're just trying to pretend like
he saw that because look, Ben, you can't blame Ben, right? He sold out, he sold his stake in the company, and then without him, the company just started going down the drain, and he was able to pick it up pennies on the dollar for what he probably sold it for. So he's able to buy back in on the cheap, and he probably can reverse the company and sell it again. It's actually kind of genius, if you ask me. Total shark move. Yeah. It says buying cars. Yeah, look, and some of the posts from Ben Clymer. Ben Clymer has a great photographer. Whoever his friend is, look at these pictures. He's got some nice BMW. By the way, shout out to Sean. If you guys want to buy a BMW in LA area, get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. BMW. We can get you almost anything you might need. BMW in LA area. Get in touch with Tim Wright. I'll set you on the right track. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, no. It's nobody saying that you can't. But when you take time off, what Tim is trying to point out here is that, listen, this guy, he has been out of touch. Like, his opinion in the watch space should no longer be valued as much as it was, before he sold his company, because he's been away. He hasn't been engaged in the dialogue for quite some time, right?
But Timmy, can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
The way Maso is talking about Hodinkee, I think it's a personal beef.
Well, I think it's a competition, kind of who is the most influential personality in the watch space. I think Ben Clymer is coming back, and he's making a big splash, to be honest. He's got some crazy interviews, those that he had was very quickly able to line up. And he like in those 10 episodes that he put out, the radio podcast, he almost got it's almost as if he never left. But Tim Maso is just trying to point out, like, hold on a second, guys. Remember, this guy was away. You don't be so quick to jump and believe what Ben is saying, because he was out of step. He was out of touch for some time.
But
okay.
Don't you think that Maso is taking damage to his reputation?
I don't look. He's on top. He's the top guy. If you asked me, Ben Clymer used to be the top guy, right? But after he left Hodinkee, Tim Maso has been working his ass off, right? Even through the collapse of the watch market, Tim Maso remained adamant. He stood there. He kept fighting for the watch collector. He kept encouraging the collectors to continue get watches that are not like just for investment purposes, but to get watches that they like as pieces of art, right? That's what he's been doing. He's been fighting. But Ben, he's been away. He comes back and he wants to be the top dog again. And you know what? I think Tim Maso had to remind everybody, hey, that I mean, like, if you ask me today, who's the most important, most influential person in the watch spaces, I would have to say Tim Maso, because of he was able to overtake Ben in Ben's absence.
I think Tim Maso's feeling confident. He feels like maybe 1916 companies firing on all cylinders. They're growing. Their relationship with Rolex is stronger than ever. Their relationship with the big brands is stronger than ever. And that Hodinkee's on the ropes. He senses blood in the water, and he maybe there's a little
He's
bit
going for a finishing move.
maybe there's a little bit of personal beef in there, but
head off the snake.
I mean, double D says in the chat, like, if your competition is struggling, let's let them die. Don't rub it in. But that's not Tim's style. So like, if his personal style is like, hey, maybe he was slighted by Ben Clymer sometime in the past, and it is personal, and he wants to laugh. So it's we're just reading his comments. We're not. I mean, I didn't write these things.
I think Tim Maso is doing fantastic. The 1916 company, the rebranding, that is freaking brilliant, right? Tim Maso's presence is everywhere. I mean, he was at the Dubai Watch Week. He was everywhere. He's been hustling this whole time, pumping out like so much content on watches and advice, and staying up to date with everything. Fighting.
Now the rumor is that you're kissing Tim Maso's ass because he did a 12-minute. I saw this yesterday. A 12-minute review of the Moritz Grossman Tremblage on WatchBox Reviews. Which happens to be like the pinnacle of your personal collection. I don't think Tim knows. Does Tim also know that you have the Tremblage?
I'm pretty sure no.
No shot. Hold on. No shot. He knows. No chance.
So you're saying you're
not delusion.
You're denying any coordination between the fact that you have a Moritz Grossman Tremblage.
You can check my.
They're promoting one just like this for $36,000, I believe. And Tim also just did a 12-minute in-depth review of this exact model. You're denying that?
Yes, I am. The last time I spoke to Tim Maso was on a live stream at the Watch Time New York, like 2 years ago.
Did you speak with anybody at the sales department or anybody else within the 1916 company or WatchBox regarding the Moritz Grossman Tremblage?
I was too busy with four-piece.
Just checking.
Bullshit. Yeah,
all right, Tim Wright denies it, guys. What can I say?
I had nothing to do with it. I love the watch though. I don't think it's the first time he made a review of Moritz Grossman. And let's be honest, this one was gonna eventually cross his table because people are selling theirs, right? I was selling mine for $30,000. That's the cheapest one actually currently on the market. But when I saw that, I raised the price for mine. So if somebody wants to buy my Moritz Grossman, it's $40,000, not a dollar less.
What did you say, Timmy? 40,000.
40,000. Yeah, I'm selling mine for 40,000. I used to be selling it for 30, but because of the changes in the market, I raised the price to 40.
Best of luck, man.
Which makes the model at WatchBox suddenly seem very attractive. Now, let me ask you this. Did you coordinate in any way, shape, or form your pricing adjustment? Did you coordinate or communicate with WatchBox in any way to artificially inflate the price of Moritz Grossman's on the market? Yes or no?
No, I did not. I just raised my price because I saw that there's a possibility there's going to be more demand with that video coming out. It's cool. It's a great watch, by the way. If somebody wants a really nice dress piece, a Moritz Grossman is a perfect company for you. I stand behind Maurice Grossman.
All right,
By the
no
way,
collusion. There's no proof of collusion, everyone.
no. Brody, $5 super chat. The only thing that can save Hodinkee is to become an authorized dealer for code 1159. Devastating.
Yep.
Daniel Katz, 279. I don't want to buy your Maurice Grossman. Hop on the stram, Daniel. Hop on the stram.
Yeah, so he can make a start from the beginning again and ask all kinds of elementary questions, like who is Hodinkee? Who is Ben Clymer?
Now you have a personal beef with the cats, OC.
I like making fun of cats a little bit.
I was joking, man.
He makes fun of me very effectively. He called me the other day and he actually told a joke to me personally, which was funnier than almost anything he's ever told on the stream. He was hilarious.
Yeah, he's a
So he
great
can
guy.
be funny. He can be funny.
Yeah, he definitely can. He's a great guy too.
I'd like to know from people in the chat, like reading this comment from Tim, and we're going to read a couple more posts, public posts that he made. What is their opinion of Tim Maso's statement? Number one, from a tone perspective, like why is he doing this? Or number two, do you agree with the content of what he's saying? On the merits, do you agree with the substance of what he's writing here?
I agree, because it's like, man, Ben Clymer, he's got like some kind of a publicity team. Look at this. He's posting these pictures on Instagram that he's an entrepreneur. Like he's God's biggest gift to wristwatch world. Look, Ben, I mean, it's amazing, but man, this is a little bit too much. I really like the guy, but this type of collage could set anyone off. This is such a flex, OC. This flex could make a guy despise you. Like, you know, this makes Ben Clymer's life look so fucking incredible. Too good to be true. And I'm sure it's amazing, but like, dude, ease up on the flex.
I know. By the way, just to play a fun game,
Yeah.
I know what model BMW this is, but for the first person to type in the model that this is in the chat wins. Go, quick. What model
Do
is it? Do it.
I'm sure Sean knows, because Sean.
Everybody should know, but it doesn't matter if you know. Yeah. You have to type it in the chat the fastest. You have to be the first one.
Hey, we by the way, huge, massive shout out to America5726 gifting 20 Tim Wright memberships. Let's go. Holy crap. That's $100 super chat. I'm gonna get some blue label for that. Thank you so much, Sean. By the way, as I said, Sean is going to be the quickest 3.0 CS. You see, he knows it.
Is that true? Is that the right answer? But is that the right answer? Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe all these people are wrong.
He knows. Okay. Sean knows everything about BMWs. Speaking of BMW enthusiasts, hey, Buckley.
I'm not a BMW enthusiast, but I do like them.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, BMWs are amazing. It's a baller's car.
Yeah, I like the M series, like everybody else.
Like, Buckley, when you watch this series of images that Ben Clymer has, posted on Instagram, how does this make you feel?
I don't really know how much you guys talked about. I've kind of just entered a room without knowing what's going on. I know that Hodinkee's in big trouble, and I saw Tim Maso ripping them apart, which is very funny.
All right, so don't reveal that, because we're covering that part right now.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have it on the screen. But yeah, it's funny that the drama in the watch world goes up to the highest levels. It goes up to the highest levels, and it's really interesting with a falling market and people losing money. What is happening?
Yeah.
Really fun. It's really interesting because it's the things that Hodinkee has done that aren't going to work anymore is making dumb collectors buy dumb watches. Case in point, Grand Seiko. Right? The whole Grand Seiko group, they're the most fucked. Right? The Zodiac people, the Grand Seiko people, the quirky Zenith people, all of these. There are videos where they're like, "What watch did you wear the most this year?" And these people go around, all the staff, right? There's like 50 of them, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Last year I wore the Zodiac, blah blah blah." No,
Ooh.
Can you name? Can you include any other watches that Tim has in his collection, like Ming, or
Yes.
Yeah, well,
IWC,
Garbage.
No, I'm
Yeah.
Panerai?
you're telling
Panerai.
me you work for
IWC.
You're telling me you work for Hodinkee and you wore a fucking Ming the most in your collect. Stop it. We all know you're lying and nobody's falling for it anymore. Hodinkee was built on talking about vintage Patek and Rolex. Right? All their earlier videos are people collecting vintage Patek, vintage Rolex, vintage Cartier, right? And then it kind of shifted into a little bit of modern mixed with vintage, and then it shifted into modern vintage AP, and then they sold out and they started pushing all these bullshit brands, all this nonsense with LVMH, with a 25-year-old fucking son thinking he could run the whole thing when he knows nothing about watches, right? And people don't want to deal with it anymore because everyone knows that Ben Clymer wakes up in the morning and puts on a Panda Daytona. That's the fucking problem with the watch world.
Welcome to the
Look.
Thursday Night Buckley Rant Show.
Look at these pictures. He's wearing one of the hardest jumbos ever created to get. The salmon one.
Yeah.
That is Hodinkee, but that is not Hodinkee anymore. Right? They're weak on a wrist.
Yes.
Pull up their weak on a wrist videos.
This is what they used to be about, but they
That's
sold
what they
out to
used
the
to be
cheaper
about.
brands. They're pushing that low tier garbage.
Because their brand was revolved around a magazine, right? It was around a magazine with this whole vintage European American aesthetic, this old money Ralph Lauren. You have your 36 day date, you have your Sea Dweller and the cars and the Carreras and the racing and the vintage Porsche and all this shit. And guys like to pick up the magazine. And then they built the company and they started selling watches. And they said, oh, if we just make a watch that kind of stinks a little bit better and put a Hodinkee limited edition on it, all of our dumb people will buy them. And then they took it too far and they became gray market dealers. And they let LVMH come in and people who just wanted to pump it. And now it's in fucking shambles. It's in shambles. This is the end of the rainbow for the Grand Seiko people.
Yeah.
This is where it ends. Because
people got burnt because their advice became not actually practical in real life. The Grand Seikos, while they're great watches, they don't live up to what Hodinkee promised. Same thing about those watches that they're pushing.
And I think I actually really like Ben Clymer, and I think he came back in because he knew that they were really messing up. Because it was like a solid 2 years, maybe 3.
Jinro is back.
Jinro!
She wouldn't let me. Okay.
Jinro!
Roommate.
Just really quickly here, we got some super chats piling up. Shout out to MD Chance, $2 super chat. Grand Seiko fan, never bought for resale. We bought for love.
Huge shout out.
Yeah, he's just
Huge
in denial.
The lucky recipients include No Endless Time, Marioso Furioso, Mim J, Benson, MDW, Rick E. Rose, Brendan Black, Johnson ECD, Jonathan Smith, Celeb, Andreas, Kincaid, The Powers, Paul Rainey, Father Artifact, Des, Paul M, Rodrigo C, and Scuba Steve, all lucky recipients of brand new memberships, which means in 30 days you get free 1 month milestone member super chat. Don't forget.
That's right. Very cool stuff. Become members, guys. Support the show. Super chat and drop memberships for your friends. That's the only way. I'm sponsored by the viewers, and this is the way that I found. It's the most effective way for me to stay most neutral. I'm able to say exactly how I feel about each of the companies because I'm not being paid by anyone.
Right.
Yes.
I'm not going to be a member.
Oh no, Daniel, please.
Because I'm already a member.
Oh. You guys need to upgrade your memberships. Upgrade the memberships to the story editors. Sean, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, I don't disagree with Tim Maso, but you cannot deny the impact Ben Clymer had in the watch world and collector community. He's the OG.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
no,
what. That's the
true.
thing. That's the thing.
He
He
is.
was.
That's the problem. That Tim Maso wants to tell you. Hold on a second. Before you say that he's the OG and you bring him back so quickly, you should remember that he has a strike against him. Where has he been? He's been buying cars and
He's been living.
playing golf.
He's been living, which is fine.
Yeah.
And he is the OG, but he let it go, man. He let it go. He lost momentum, and it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's gotten so. If you really think about how crazy it's gotten,
Yeah.
He had his magazine. It was doing okay. Then he had John Mayer on. That was it, right? Chapter 1 was John Mayer. Chapter 2 was John Mayer, video 2, right? With the John Mayer Daytona. That video, that's it. Stardom,
Wow.
gone. We're gone, right? It's over. It's so crazy that now John Mayer is a consultant of design for AP. That's too far, and that's a bubble that will pop. I'm sorry, John Mayer. Stick to music. I don't know if I want you on the design team at AP. I don't know if I want that. He's become a little bit too powerful it's like a little bit too much. It's just too much at this point. Where it's like,
You mean it's just like Aaron? It's like Aaron Rodgers running for vice president. Okay.
John Mayer's job is to come in and to find the gold, to find the diamond in the rough, talk about it, and then send it to outer space. That's what he does. But now he's going to be making John Mayer APs. That's going to get old and weird real quick. I don't know. It's the same issue with FP Journe. It's like FP Journe's great, but if that guy turns out to be a psychopath, it's attached to a man, right? Not a brand. Rolex, Patek are brands, right? You can move people in and out. Now AP has, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. And all this came from just because he was a collector and Ben Clymer was like, come on, because there's no celebrity who's cool that's a collector. Right? Like there's nobody else.
It feels like these guys are selling out. When John Mayer does a collab with AP, it no longer feels like he's a collector. He's one of the collectors. He becomes a part
He's
of
like in on it. Yeah. It's like which is fine, and you can do that. But we're talking about the Holy Trinity here, which in my opinion is supposed to it's supposed to always be above the collector, right? You can have the top collector underneath your table. You could have your number one, but now you're giving him a seat at the table. It's a little bit weird. I don't know. Whatever. That's a debate for another day. I'm just saying this shit is a giant bubble.
Let me ask you something, Buckley.
Yeah.
Would you agree that 2 years ago, before Ben Clymer left Hodinkee, he was the most respected person in the watch space, like the most respected wristwatch influencer?
Who?
Ben Clymer.
Yeah, probably. He's top 5 of all time.
He's top 5 of all time, but right before selling Hodinkee, I would say he was the top.
Yeah. Make no mistake. Hodinkee was number 1.
Yes.
And then the gray market.
And he left. He left.
Oh, not even that.
And Hodinkee was doing really great.
Guys,
Ben Clymer left.
Tim, Vuitton and Moses and Jules each have channels that are bigger than Hodinkee now.
No. But it's not about that. It's about the influence. Those people don't have the same influence.
No, they have more influence.
No. Because their viewership is like YouTube, but these guys have the collectors. Do you understand? Like the most the most respected collectors in the world. They're friends. They're on the phone with Ben Clymer. They're like talking and
Yep.
sharing this information. They have a bigger insight. Whereas, yes, some of these, like for example, maybe Teddy Baldessar, no, or like Gringa, right? They might have big following, but that following, those people are not as influential. Like they don't have same power in the space.
That's not how YouTube works, unfortunately. If I type in almost any watch right now that I want to review on, Nico Leonard comes up at the top before Hodinkee.
Okay, but he's influencing kids. He's not influencing anyone in the watch space that actually matters.
Well, the people in the watch space that are the true crazy enthusiasts are a very, very small group of people.
I don't think
And
those
those
people
people-
watch Nico Leonard or respect him in any way, shape,
Doesn't
or form.
matter. Those
Nico Leonard
people-
is not respected. He's not top 5 most influential people. In
No,
the
no,
world.
no. It's not.
Maybe
that.
he is. You think he is?
No,
It's
he's the
not that.
worst.
The Hublot. He's like the worst one. But he did
It's not
promote a
that.
lot of hate for Hublot.
It's not that. It's he came in, and all the people that were flippers took the market to what it is. These old school Hodinkee guys, they didn't do anything. They never did anything. It's all the new money, all the new people that took the market to where it is, and them leaving is what's bringing it down.
But you would agree with me with the question. The original question was that whether Ben Clymer was the most influential person in the watch space. He was. And what Tim Maso is, and then but when he left. He's not, now that he's trying to come back. He's trying to take that top spot again. And what I'm thinking is happening is Tim Maso is trying to say, hey, hold on a second. Right? Let's not forget he wasn't present here, right? And I would actually say that right now, Tim Maso is the most influential person in the watch space.
No, I don't think so.
Who do you think is more influential than Tim Maso? Yes, Sean, please.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. Sorry for the wind noise. But real quick, just wanted to say, listen, Tim Maso is...
Oh, damn it, cut out.
Cutting out, Sean.
Oh, why did it cut out?
Because he's got bad service on the beach.
Wait. Hold on a second. Hold on. Sean, you have to go again. Okay. I think I fixed your microphone. Can you go again? Because we couldn't hear anything. It cut out.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Cheers to you all in paradise. But what I wanted to say is, Tim Maso is influential, know that, and he has a lot of qualities. And obviously, he's been instrumental in getting the company associated with where he is, and I enjoy his content. But Ben Clymer is the original guy that, I guess he's in the way the watch market got hyped up even before COVID, and it just stayed on fire obviously after COVID. But with all of that being said, Ben Clymer coming back after the hiatus, having fun, spending the money and all of that stuff, he comes back and he brings quality content and focus to the watch world. Is that such a bad thing? I don't think so.
No, it's not a bad thing at all.
And
No, I mean,
and listen, he is one of the judges on the what is that, GHG?
GPHG. Yeah.
GPHG, yeah.
But so are 100 other people.
So is Nico.
Oh, ew, Nico is on it? Gross.
Yeah. Oh, is Nico in it? Okay, then I'll retry.
Nico's on.
Then it doesn't matter, guys. If Nico is on, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. America 5726, member for 15 months. The most influential person in the watch space is Jay Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Buckley's correct. They rode the wave. That's it. And shout out to Green Ale, who upgraded his membership to a story editor. Thank you so much, Green Ale. These kind of memberships, that's what really helps me to do these shows every single day. Become members now. Pamal Nair, membered for 5 months. Nico is sought after by celebs and sports personalities in Europe. Not all watch buyers are enthusiasts, and Nico is targeting the wealthy who want a watch. Nico has more name recognition than Maso.
It's ridiculous.
It's false.
No, the watches that Nico is selling is absolute garbage. Tim Maso is freaking flipping watches with kings in freaking Middle East. You know, he's got connections there with the princes.
Look at the interviews he does. Look at the
Yeah.
interviews he does. The quality people.
He's
similar
selling
to
multi-million
Ben
dollar
Clymer,
collections.
Tim, can we go to the next screenshot, the next post that he made?
Yes, let's go to the next post.
No, not that one. Like
Not this
there's
one?
like a smaller one first, I think.
Smaller one. Okay, to this one.
Yeah, that was a good one. So this is apparently there was a post where some people within Hodinkee were sniping with each other, and so Tim Maso made this comment: "Wow, sliding or slamming your coworkers is the last rung before rock bottom. It brings up another key factor we haven't discussed on this pending post-mortem of a thread, which is corporate culture. The rots really set in when infighting breaks into the public domain. I doubt there's any kind of unifying values or common goals anymore within the organization." He's referring to Hodinkee. Normally, you'd hope everyone would be respectful and motivated by a common love for watches, but perhaps they have neither at this point. So basically, he's attacking the corporate culture of Hodinkee.
Yeah, Hodinkee was built up as a kind of almost a digital influence platform. It was hyped up by celebs. It was overhyped. They promised way too much, and it seems like it was all about it was all about a payout. They were building this company so that a lot of executives up at the top could get stocks and cash in, and because after this company, like there's no one there. Like we don't know anyone at the Hodinkee.
They're all gone. There's like 2 guys left that were from the original crew.
Yeah, and we don't even know their names. That's how suppressed their voices might have been.
The two right-hand men that left, one was Jack Forrester and the other one was Eric Wind. Those 2 guys were part of Hodinkee. I don't know how long, but they had some of the best videos, best info, and they both left.
They were more busy spending time trying to build a business that was most as profitable as possible, and not focusing on actual watch influencing and reviewing watches and influencing watch culture. It was all about business. It became all business. They forgot what this is all about.
So,
Right?
Timmy,
It's not. Yeah.
do you think Ben Clymer can save Hodinkee?
I think he can. They're just gonna restructure it. The company has such name recognition that they can get investors very easily, and they could probably sell it again and make another big payout. They could keep juggling this company like that for many years.
Okay, now my turn.
Hey, Tim G.
I've heard all the stuff. Hi guys.
Well, we're not done going through Tim Moss's comments, and we won't be for a while. But feel free to jump in.
I'm going back.
No.
I'm not going to jump in now. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Now's a good time.
Okay. Yeah, the other stuff is spicy and juicy, so this is
okay. Then
anyway, real quick, we're actually talking about 2 different animals here. These 2 were brought up. I mean, both very nice people. Tim Maso has a little grind. It looks like he's got a little grind to pick toward Ben Clymer. Ben Clymer belongs to like the Maidstone Arms in East Hampton, which is like an old school, like country club. Seth Rayner country club. He belongs to the core club. And you guys are New Yorkers. None of us could walk into the core club. Okay, Google core club and you'll find
Core
out.
club.
All right, these places are.
He's an elitist.
He's
Is
not.
that what you're saying?
I know what I'm
He's like an actual elitist.
I'm an elitist, but I'm on this panel. Okay.
No,
So
we love having elite. We love representation from every group.
Basically, it's a whole different deal.
It's a whole different ball game, right?
Tim Maso was in the Marines.
He's a regular Joe Schmo.
Right, the 1960s.
And this guy is royalty.
Yeah, roll it back. Just Timmy, roll it back.
Okay.
The Tim Maso, the WatchBox is a completely different story. A Jewish guy from Fairfield, Connecticut, who's loaded. Okay, who's loaded. Gottberg, Jewish family in Cleveland that had Patek. Completely different. They moved it. They succeeded. They've got Rolex now. They're down in Miami. They've got a whole different gig. One is a retailer that has Patek and Rolex. The other one is an influencer, who I consider an influencer. Tim Maso is too, because I do watch his videos to look at watches. But Ben Clymer is the type of guy that if I'm having a drink with, and he says I have this XYZ, I'm actually going to listen to him a little bit more, because he's been around the block more than Tim Maso. Tim Maso is a hands-on, and they're both good at their jobs. They're just completely different animals. I mean,
no, I think
background,
they
everything.
were different animals, but they became very similar animals.
Not
because
really.
WatchBox was a gray market dealer that's now becoming more of an editorial. Tim Maso is becoming more and more editorial person. And Hodinkee is the opposite. It was editorial that became a gray market dealer.
No, but they can't. The problem is that WatchBox has a head start, because they have Patek and they've had Rolex, and now they really have Rolex, and now they really have Patek. They're not going under. Hodinkee doesn't have those. Okay, Hodinkee and Ben Clymer. Let's put it this way:
the Hodinkee name alone is probably worth $100 million.
Timmy, roll it back. If a celebrity, if Tim Maso was at a bar, at a fancy bar, and was in the left-hand corner, and Ben Clymer was on the right-hand corner, and you had your choice between going to each one of those people, I personally would be going toward Ben Clymer. That's all I'm going to say. All right? That's me. You might be going toward Tim Maso. All right?
I can see on the spectrum of.
I don't like the idea that what I don't like here is what Tim Maso has done, because yes, is Hodinkee having some issues? Absolutely. But Ben Clymer is Hodinkee, just like
He's been missing in action for 2 years. Where has he been? Buying cars and playing golf.
Roll it back. He's entitled to do that if you're rich, okay? And
but he can't come back and expect the same type of respect that he used to get, right? He can't just come in and just say, "Hey guys, I want you to pretend like I wasn't away for 2 years."
He doesn't have to do that. He can do it influentially, quietly. He doesn't have to go in front of a YouTube crowd or talking watches at
Ben Clymer has been flexing the kind of friends in wristwatch space that he has. All of those interviews with Jean Arnaud,
roll it back again.
With Recep. I mean, he had a freaking John Mayer and Ed Sheeran do a video. How did he set that up?
Hold on. Who made John Mayer as an influencer? It wasn't Tim Maso. 6 years ago, Tim Maso had, who was that guy?
I think they have different philosophies.
The private gentleman coming in as I mean, I don't know if people remember this, had the private gentleman coming into WatchBox. WatchBox was floundering around that time. They all flounder. It's all these companies.
No, I think they were a gray market dealer back then. They were gray market dealer back when it was cool. What Hodinkee tried to do, Hodinkee tried to copy WatchBox.
Hodinkee tried to copy WatchBox.
Yeah, they tried to copy the WatchBox, and it backfired. They failed. They have no idea how to flip watches. And Ben Clymer has to come back and save the company at 11th hour.
No, what they did was they just jumped on the train. I can't say anymore, but basically
Tim G, at this, do you, in the interest of transparency, do you have any type of financial or professional conflict of interest being on this panel, saying what you're saying about Ben Clymer or Hodinkee?
What I've said, no.
Do you have any financial or professional conflict of interest at all?
I can't say anymore.
What?
I'm pleading the fifth.
All right. Listen, I mean, with our panel and our chat tends to have the most influential people in the industry, so it's not a surprise that Tim G is probably
There's a
either
conflict of interest. He probably
financially or
has,
professionally invested.
he might
And
own
so
5% stock in
No, no,
Hodinkee,
no. I
as
can
far as
say I
we
don't
know.
own that. But it's almost like Tim Wright. It's almost like Tim Wright LLC. Tim Wright LLC thinks that his company is worth $1.5 million. I don't know what
That's
it's
what
worth.
I said when
at
somebody asked me.
one point it was worth
What
over 4 million.
What happens with Tim Wright LLC decides that he wants to play golf, buy BMWs, and wear a Daytona for 2 years? What happens to the company if someone else buys it?
Well, if Ben Clymer wants to buy Tim Wright LLC for 1.5 million,
Oh, okay.
let's
Let's talk. All right. So
he
anyway,
knows how to contact me. It's
this
hello@timwright.com.
is all I've got to say in this matter. They're just completely different animals.
Oh, you'll have more to say.
What Tim Maso did here is basically he's kicking somebody down. Ben Clymer, in my opinion, is
it's competition. You don't like capitalism?
In my opinion, Ben Clymer doesn't have competition. Okay, he doesn't have it.
You don't like competition.
Well, what is this? I mean, I don't understand.
Can I just make a point?
Yeah.
Look, I'm speculating, but what I think of this is Tim Maso at some point probably approached Hodinkee to work with them, work for them, and he was given the shaft, the cold shoulder, or maybe they made some remarks about him publicly that none of us ever noticed, or maybe even just in that very small auction, FP Journe, fucking Watch Time New York City world of people that, Rosé's involved in and a few of these other guys are involved in. Maybe they said some things about Tim Maso that aren't so good. So he smelled blood in the water and said, "Fuck you. Now I'm taking you out." Otherwise,
there's got to be animosity here. But
there's something like that. There's something.
You have to notice though. Ben Clymer hasn't even said a boo because you know why? He's like Tide and everyone else. Like I'm talking about the detergent. So what they taught me at a fancy business school is if you're number one, let everyone come after you. If you're number two, you have to go after number one. So you have to hit them. So if you're a Tide detergent and you're all detergent will say something bad about Tide detergent.
You think 1916 Company is worried about Hodinkee? 1916 Company is a $500 million company. I don't think Hodinkee is anywhere near that. Hodinkee's in shambles. Come on. They're not punching down. They're not punching down, Tim G. They're not punching down. 1916 Company is a $500 million operation.
It's a retailer. It's a retailer. It's like a.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can I ask a question real quick? If you are a top level collector in the world, the top 1% of the 1% collector, you get a call from Tim Maso for an interview. You get a call from Ben Clymer for an interview. Which one would you take?
Ben Clymer.
What do you mean? If I was buying a watch, I would buy a watch from Tim Maso.
Oh, not buying a watch.
Interview, Timmy, interview.
Oh, interview?
Yeah, that's what he said. An interview to hang out. I'm buying.
I prefer Tim Maso myself. I think Ben Clymer's a little too pretentious for me. I think Tim Maso has a way. I just like his personal demeanor and his style of talking. So that my personal choice would be Tim Maso.
And where Sean is headed with this is exactly right. We're not going to agree with this because everyone has their personal preference. But I personally like Ben Clymer. If Ben Clymer said I have an XYZ watch, I don't like vintage watches, so I really don't care. But if he says that he's doing this or doing that, I'm actually going to listen. Ben Clymer is Hodinkee. I mean, they're basically they're like a newspaper.
That's Tim Maso's argument is if Ben Clymer is Hodinkee,
they made
when he stepped away, the soul of the company left with him.
Correct. That is correct. But you don't mock a guy for seeing problems within the organization. It's like the New York Times. I don't like it because I think it's a liberal rag. However, it's listen to me on this. Oh, so see, it's the paper of what do they call it? It's the paper, and I do read it on Sunday because I want to see what the other side is talking about. Ben Clymer is the same way in the watch field. It's the paper of choice, or the horology of choice, or whatever you want to call it. Do I like the viewpoints of New York Times? I can't stand them, but I'm going to read the paper. All right. It's the same sort of gig with Ben Clymer. I'm not going to read Tim Maso. I like his viewpoints. Everything has to be above a 14-inch wrist, but Tim Maso does an excellent job going over each one of those watches. I mean, phenomenal, because it's the way I look at watches, but he's a completely different animal. That's all. 1916 Company is killing it because of Patek and Rolex. And when all these other companies go down, all these other horology companies go down the tubes, those are going to be standing. And that's really the truth. Hodinkee is going down because they've got crap. They bought crap while Ben Clymer was gone. They ended up trying to get into the business and everything else. That's all. That's all I've got. I'm moving on.
Hey, Brody, thank you so much for $5 super chat.
I'll read the super chat while you pull up the screenshot that starts with a case study in equity money from Tim Maso. Brody, $5 super chat. The only one proper way for two watch nerds like Ben Clymer and Tim Maso to settle this beef: thumb wrestle.
Oh, by the way, guys,
here's another post from Tim Maso. Sorry, did you want to jump to something else, Tim?
I was just going to mention before we get into this, I have a poll running in the chat. Who do you respect the most, Tim Maso or Ben Clymer? And I threw in Tim right in there as well. So go go and vote in the poll. Make your voice heard. I want to know who is the most respected wristwatch influencer in the watch space, according to the Viewers' Choice Awards.
So, Timmy, who will you take?
Huh?
Who will you take for an interview? Ben Clymer or Tim Maso?
Ben Clymer or Tim Maso? Ooh. Well, I already interviewed Tim Maso, so I would take Ben Clymer.
Okay, I agree, man. I will have a lunch or dinner with Ben Clymer over Maso.
Yeah, I think I would get along a little bit better with Ben Clymer, just because Tim Maso is he's a lot of energy for me.
Yeah, well, listen, you're not car guys, and neither am I. If you were a car guy, you'd probably Tim Maso talks a lot about cars. By the way, let's just read this additional post that Tim Maso made. He's referring to Hodinkee here. A case study in equity money and absentee ownership. Boom! Absentee ownership gone wrong. I wonder how many of the Silicon Valley investors from 2015 actually go home at night and surf the web looking at watches until 11 p.m. People who actually do that are the ones you want running and writing a website like that.
Oh,
wow!
Damn.
To be honest, there's a little bit of an overlap between Tim Wright and Tim Maso. There's like this purity complex for the enthusiasts.
Principle. It's called principle, Buckley.
Yeah, a little bit there. That sound Tim Wright could have written that, I think.
Boom. Yeah. What he's basically saying is, hey, you want watch nuts, right? Be in charge of the company and steering the editorial and steering the reviews.
Want
people are passionate about the hobby.
Passionate about watches. I'm here every single night, chiseling away, grinding the interwebs for the wristwatch related content. I know. I've been around these parts. I've been look what this hobby done to me. I mean, look at this. Does this look normal to you?
No, the hobby didn't do that to you.
That's the hobby did. The obsession.
I
this
blame,
hobby. That's what did it.
No, I blame Chernobyl.
That didn't help. Yeah, it's a really good point here from Tim Maso. And that's what I'm saying. Tim Maso, even though he probably doesn't give a fuck about watches anymore because he's just done so much watch talk, yet he is still passionate for his job and the fact that so many people rely on his advice. And he knows that he's seen more watches than anybody else. Tim Maso probably seen 10 times, maybe 20, maybe 100 times more watches than Ben Clymer.
10,000 watches more than Ben Clymer.
Yeah.
Every watch ever, maybe. Every watch ever, maybe.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So whose advice do you want to listen to Tim Maso, who's seen every single watch, or Ben Clymer, who pops on the scene with this AP, right? And look, he's showing boxing papers. Look, there's a documentation. What is he doing? Is he selling this? Is Ben Clymer hoping to auction this watch off for $2 million on Sotheby's? I mean, what is he doing here? I don't know.
Ben Clymer's taste in watches is much more aligned with mine than
it's very. This is a really good watch, right? Like
beautiful.
Man, I would crawl through glass for that watch. That is
beautiful, but
stunning.
I think Tim Maso is the like the most pure of the watch collector nerd fucking ever. He's the guy. Ben Clymer is Ben Clymer the top of the hype food chain, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Is that maybe what I mean, when I think of a vintage Porsche and I think of a Panda Daytona, I feel like Ben Clymer created that bridge.
He defines hype. He's actually, his choices become hype because, see, Ben Clymer, unlike Tim Maso's advantage is the quantity and just the wealth of information that he has. Whereas Ben Clymer, he's very selective. He doesn't like everything. He just likes just the gems that he finds, and he spends a lot of time playing golf in between, and maybe listening to jazz and thinking about watches before he settles on one. And it's always a banger, like this 202 with the gold dial. I mean, that watch is breathtaking. Fuck, that's a good watch.
It's
my God.
It's so good.
Oh my God. It's a 202, so it's a jumbo, but it's with the gold dial. There's probably like 10 of these on the planet. Yeah, it's interesting.
At the end of the rainbow, the old money, collector from New York City, Hamptons, whatever. Ben Clymer is their hero, right? Mm-hmm. They can wear the Laurel Piana blazer, they can cuff the Levi's with the Converse, and they could throw on the fucking jumbo that you're never going to be able to get. You'll never be able to afford it. And then at the end of the day, they hop in some vintage Porsche, right?
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Those are not my people. I'm not that guy. I don't align with those people.
But you would like to be that guy.
No, I wouldn't.
You would fit like a glove. Like if those guys accepted you, you would fit like a glove.
No, I got to be honest with you, Tim, and this is going to be the most controversial comment of the night. Okay. I align with Paul Thorpe over Ben Clymer.
Oh man.
Yeah. At the end of my rainbow, Tim, is when I'm OC's age, it's going to be nothing besides tattoos and testosterone replacement therapy, baby. That's where I'm at. All right. So let's be honest. There's no Ben Clymer in my future.
So, Timmy, do you want to become a man like Ben Clymer? Do you want to be Ben Clymer, Timmy?
Do I want to be Ben Clymer? No, I don't want to be Ben Clymer. I want to be Tim Wright. Yeah, I want to be myself. I want Ben Clymer to be himself, Tim Maso to be himself, because, and you know what? I want them to be more adversarial like this. Just be honest with each other, right? Tell each other how you really feel. Tim Maso doing this is really brave. I actually remember when you're not gonna believe this, but OC, Neo, right? So for some reason, I don't know. When I came back from Australia last year, this Neo guy, he really turned on me, and he started spreading all kinds of lies and rumors about me. And he went on Tim Maso's live stream into the chat, and he was leaving all kinds of like lies about me in the chat. And Tim Maso accidentally, or he was just pulling up comments, but he pulled up one of the things, and Tim Maso said that, that's why I stay out of politics. But I don't want Tim Maso to stay out of politics. I want him to steer the watch collectors into the direction that he thinks the market should go. I want him to be a leader, right? And tell us how he feels. And this is a first shot fired at Ben Clymer, basically letting Ben Clymer know that, hey, we're in charge right now, and we're not going to let you steer this ship. Just because you came back here doesn't mean you could grab the wheel. Because like, look, Ben Clymer posting pictures behind the wheel of a car. This is like him sending like a message that he's in control now. He's back in control. Him behind the steering wheel. He's
Man,
controlling the watch market.
that's a good
It's a
observation,
metaphor.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor.
Yeah, it is because it is, and I think this is a response. See here, Ben Clymer sitting in the car, he's getting into it, right? He's getting in and he's driving it. This is him saying, "Guys, I'm in control now. Watch me drive."
I'm in control
the
of the vintage market. The vintage market.
Vintage market, exactly.
And to me, if you scroll down the images, there was a green wall in the background. I think the green signifies the Rolex.
This green grass.
Yeah.
The future is greenfield.
Hey, look, there's the future. The future is he wants to get a Ferrari. You see it?
I don't know. I'm reading too much into it. All I will say is if you go back to where he's standing on the car, or he's go back. Oh, look at that cuff.
Yeah.
Look at that. Zoom in on the cuff, Tim.
Can't zoom in.
Hold on. I can screenshot it.
This is what I've been trying to tell everybody.
Oh my God.
OC91, $2 super chat. Tim Maso is Wozniak. Steve Wozniak. Ben Clymer is Steve Jobs. Different roles.
Interesting. World and Watches says Tim Maso is king. By the way, guys, vote in this poll that we have running. It's insane. OC.
The stream.
Results are shocking. I am shaken to the core.
Not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred. Like James Bond. Shaken.
There's a lot of posts here from Tim Maso, but we'll pull up the last one, and this one's kind of a nasty one too. It's got two parts.
Oh,
we read that one.
Brutal.
We read that one.
Hold on.
Yep.
Haven't read it yet, but I'm bringing it up onto the screen.
Boom.
I lost the cursor there for a second. Okay, here we go. Brutal takedown. Here we go.
You could blow up the top half if you want, then we can zoom into the second half if you can do that. If you can.
Oh, yeah, sure. I could do that. Let's go part by part.
So he's referring to when the news broke that there was a fifth workforce reduction, a fifth round of layoffs at Hodinkee. Someone said, it's just a rumor. You shouldn't comment about rumors. And Tim also replies, this is more than just rumors. Part of it is the brain drain of losing competent staff. Ben Clymer bailing on actual involvement for years. There was a culture clash with Crown and Caliber, and part of it is investors losing patience. Looking back on the bombastic threats they made to existing pre-owned vendors back when Kevin Rose and the venture capital arrived, this can't be where Hodinkee or its backers hoped to be in 2024.
This is fucking firing shot.
Boom, 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 boom.
Holy shit.
Damn. The investors are not happy. They were promised the world, like Digital Watch Vault has promised to end watch crime once and for all. Yet watch crime still keeps going on. But police was actually able to cut it by a little bit. But this is wild. So there's a possibility that Ben Clymer is coming back just to kind of try and reverse and save because his image is forever tied with Hodinkee. If Hodinkee fails, Ben Clymer would be kind of held responsible for that. His image would go down in the view of collectors. So in a way, he does have to go back. He does have to save it, and he has to kind of save his name and redeem Hodinkee's name. But by the way, I just got the news, OC, that apparently Tim Maso went for a job interview at Hodinkee, and he was rejected by Ben Clymer back in the day.
Then it sounds personal.
There it is.
Yep.
Well, it's like, you know what? You closed the door for me back in the day. So now I'm gonna remind you that listen.
Actually, Tim, fuck you. I don't have any proof of what you just said. How do I even know that's real?
Well, listen, this is what I'm getting. It's a rumor. It's not
Oh,
substantiated.
it's a rumor. Okay, it's a rumor.
No,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
trust
from a
Timmy. I
reliable
trust
source.
Timmy.
It's from a reliable source. Actually, this source I trust 100%. I wouldn't just say it on air if I didn't know that this is an inside source, an insider. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I believe you, Timbo. I believe
Yeah.
you.
I wouldn't share just anyone randomly Joe Schmo texting me on Instagram and saying, Tim, no. I'm talking to a serious guy who's involved, and he's been following somewhere. I'm sure if people wanted to research it, and someone actually already pointed this out on the live stream earlier today. I just did not bring it up. I think maybe it was, I don't know, Awesome Pond. Did you mention something like that? But
Yeah,
I remember.
I mentioned personal beef to me. This sounds
Oh
personal
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, so but I think somebody mentioned that maybe maybe Tim Maso worked for or wanted to apply for a job.
I said that like 30 minutes ago.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
See,
I
you
wasn't
said
wrong.
it, and I'm saying that this is confirmed. I can confirm it.
All right. Well, it would make sense. I mean, I've
Yeah.
never seen Tim Maso do anything remotely close to this ever.
Boom. I mean, he's trying to save
he's firing all shots. He's emptying all the rounds here. And then there's a part on the bottom which there's other posts as well. We didn't capture them all. And then now he's really kind of
where is he going to go from here?
He's kind of foreshadowing the death of Hodinkee, basically assassinating the character of the company, basically saying that they're basically done. From Tim Maso himself, distressed asset sale ? Who knows without seeing the books? The name is worth something to someone.
Yes.
In a worst case scenario, what do you get? I'm sure they just rent their offices in New York City, so there's no real estate involved. Staff almost certainly don't work under contracts that would retain them to the company. So you get the name, the internet domain, and the...
I don't have it. Cuts off.
You don't have it?
Cuts off there. No.
But
he's just talking about like just some basic. What is a company valued at? Yeah. They sold Crown and Caliber is underwater. Whatever they're own, they paid more for it. But as a business, Hodinkee is just a name and a website where like different authors send their like watch reviews in.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, again, just to clear up any potential confusion, we do happen to be close friends with people who are close friends and business associates with the head of 1916 Company and WatchBox. That doesn't mean we're associated with WatchBox or 1916 Company in any way. I don't want to say because you know what I'm talking about. So, but we were never contacted or directed or pushed or paid in any way to cover the story. We're talking about this completely independently.
This is an interesting story worth talking about because these two websites I find to be extremely fascinating. They're very influential in watch space, and I think it's worth discussing what kind of top influencers in watch hobby have to say about each other and how their competing business models operate. It's because the more we understand about these companies, the better we'll be able to understand their business models, and we'll be more informed consumers. Brody, when I'm considering a timepiece to purchase, I go straight to WatchBox reviews first, not Hodinkee, and certainly not Ben Clymer. Jeez, yeah, I agree. Tim Maso, they have the biggest archive, a review of almost every single watch on the planet.
Yeah.
So,
including the 2021 release from Moritz Grossman, the Tremblage in stainless steel.
By the way, mine's available for 40,000. Check it out, Maurice Grossman. It's very nice.
Yeah, that's a good watch to me.
You guys are making fun of it, but it is a really nice watch.
If I had 40,000, I would buy this watch.
Start saving money.
I'm not making fun of it.
Hey, Daniel. Welcome back.
I was dealing with stuff, so I was here, but I wasn't here.
Oh, but you heard what we were talking about. You wanna chime in or?
Well, Ben Clymer, I guess, is to be not for sure is to be respected, but totally for me in the room with Tim Maso, much more relaxed to be with Tim Maso.
Really?
If I was alone in a room, I mean, with a beautiful woman to protect me, but outside of that. But Ben,
you identify
unless
more,
there's
no disrespect for Ben, but
no disrespect. If there was an agenda, there was a meeting.
Yes.
I think I'd be okay with Ben Clymer in a good mood, but I would be very uncomfortable being in the same.
I don't feel like Ben Clymer likes to talk about watches when he is in front of the vibe I get. He likes to talk about
like if I bumped into him somewhere and we just managed to strike a conversation, but I just don't think I think he's trying to be friendly with everybody and to some extent, but I don't think I click with him.
Do you think maybe
I can't put my finger on it why, but I find he's more comfortable with the people in his world. Put it that way.
You know that Tim Maso, he's also really into cars and he talks about cars a lot. Do you think this is like a car that Tim Maso wants to really get and Ben Clymer just got to flex on Tim Maso? Is this what's going on?
Tim, I think you said earlier, based on what you guys just read about Crown and Caliber and acquiring Hodinkee, which, you know, I agree, it was not a very good fit. Maybe WatchBox made an offer and they were turned down, and they went with Crown and Caliber, and that's why there's that animosity. I think there's a valid point there, but I think Ben Clymer is more of a lifestyle guy too. I think obviously, you know, he does have some credentials with in the watch world, needless to say. As far as watch by watch, I think if you put a watch in front of Tim Maso, he'll be able to tear it down and get into the nitty gritty, the mechanics and all of that stuff and movement, and then just wow you with the way he describes everything. I think Ben Clymer is a collector just like the rest of us. He's not a nerdy collector like Tim Maso, and he's more into other fine things in life as well. And that's probably what that would be probably more attractive to some of the collectors out there. And I would say if you're a if you're a top-notch collector that has wide range of interests, I think Ben Clymer probably would appeal to you more. If you're heavily into watches and you have very few interests and watches are it, and you're really a watch geek, I think probably Tim Maso.
But we're not just talking about the personalities, Sean. We're talking about the businesses, and the fact that Hodinkee is now on its 5th round of layoffs. They've made strategic blunders with the ill-fated purchase of Crown and Caliber.
It's a failed company.
Yeah. And are which business? I mean,
which business would you trust
1916
more?
company sees an opportunity to strike and steal some of Hodinkee's clout.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think needless to say, right now, the 1916 and WatchBox, I think they're much more stronger commodity as a company. I think they're worth a lot more. But listen, Hodinkee started this thing. I mean, Hodinkee was started by Ben Clymer, right? It was kind of like a startup, whereas WatchBox and the rest of these guys wasn't started by Tim Maso. Right? It was a family business. I think somebody said that earlier, if I'm not mistaken, Tim G said. So I think their origins were different. Obviously, right now, the company 1916 or whatever it's called now, WatchBox, I think it's valued a lot higher. They're on stronger footing. They're all over the world, and every watch manufacturer out there wants to get their plaque on their building and on their website because they do such a great job selling it. And Tim also is a great front person for them. He's a great spokesperson. He brings credibility. He has a strong following, and the guy's young. He appeals to a wide range of collectors. I don't care if you're in your early 20s or you're in your late 60s, 70s, or 80s. I think Tim Maso does speak to your language. Looks at you eye to eye. There's no doubt about it. My point was, as far as individuals, that was my, and I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's just that they're totally different. Now, what would be strong is if there is a company that starts up by Tim Maso and Ben Clymer. Now think about that.
Let me show you guys something. I'm trying to bring something up here for you. Okay, watch this. Okay, watch this, guys. Two videos side by side. Okay, here we go. Here's one. Here's another one. Okay. Hodinkee versus WatchBox. Okay. WatchBox. Okay, there's Tim Maso doing, and like the amount of content that Tim Maso is involved in on the WatchBox website, on the
Okay.
WatchBox YouTube channel.
Okay,
is
hold
so
on,
much
hold
more
on, hold on. That's
content
not. That's not.
Whereas on the
fair-
right, that's a
That's
Hodinkee
not a
video.
that's not a fair analogy there. I'm butting in. Brody, she's 36. Anyway, real quick, that's not a fair That's not a fair analogy though, because
What do you mean?
gotta put. You gotta put. I don't even know who this.
Why
dude is.
why
I
is
don't even know
Ben
who this.
Clymer doing this interview? Who the hell is? Who's the collector and who's the interviewee on the video on the right? That's what I want to know.
Tim,
Put
not
put
Tim G. I mean
Tim
the other Tim.
Tim Maso next to Ben Clymer doing it. Put Tim Maso doing Ben Clymer. I don't know who this white guy is with the.
But that's what I'm
with the
saying.
bald head.
There's so many of these videos where Hodinkee has these videos where you don't know who are these people. They were never introduced to us. They just put this guy on out of the blue, and we're supposed to watch it, and we're like, well, who is this guy? Why don't we know anything about this guy?
I totally agree, and that's one of their major issues is that this guy was probably picked from the street. You know, looks like a soy boy beta guy that they just picked up, and basically they picked him up from the street. But if you put Ben Clymer there, and if you had the choice between Ben Clymer and Tim Maso, now granted, Tim Maso, everyone picked as I get it because he's gone through every watch. I look at his stuff constantly, daily. I mean, daily. But the thing is if you have Ben Clymer sitting at the Soho restaurant with John Mayer, you're gonna go that direction. You're gonna go that direction. You're not gonna go Tim Maso with this other guy on the left.
Tim G, let me ask you a question. Even now, even if it was now, Tim Maso sitting down with John Goldberger, doing an interview. Do you think he would ever have such an interview that Ben Clymer had, where John Goldberger took the frickin' paring knife and popped the case open? I mean, you know, he connects with that level collector really well.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Ben Clymer, and you mentioned this, you were spot on this. Ben Clymer is a lifestyle guy, okay? Hangs out at the Mayfair Club, hangs out at the Core Club. None of us on this community, except maybe 2 or 3 people, could even walk into those places. They would get their security and take us away.
He's a member of Skull and Bones and the Illuminati.
Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that. But you know, Ben Clymer is Ben Clymer. You can't dismiss or.
Dude, they got Jack Forrester on WatchBox.
Oh my! What happened to him?
Knowledge,
oh my God!
Educating people, dude. Look at this. That Jack Forrester is just freaking making good videos. Look at this. They got latest reports from the market.
He's good. He's good.
No, he is actually really good. This is the owner here.
Right?
No,
the owner. It's Mike.
No,
Mike
he's one of the top.
Mike Manges, but Mike Manges is a personality.
He's a buyer. He's a buyer. He's a buyer.
Interjection. That nobody that was talking to Tim Maso, Tim G, is Brian Govberg, who's the son of the owner. So he's one of the owners of WatchBox.
Yeah, he lives in.
Why do you have to
I
belittle
can't
him as
even-
son of the owner? Why can't you
he
just
lives
say
in-
he's an,
Okay,
an
okay.
executive
I
of
find it
Gotberg?
ironic that he doesn't live in Philly or he doesn't
Correction
live in
taken.
Cleveland.
All right.
Correction taken.
Yeah,
Okay.
he lives in
Okay.
Connecticut.
Okay, you're right. You're right. OC.
He lives
But
in
guys,
Connecticut. I mean, he lives in Connecticut. He's in the same. I won't even get into this, but he
Yeah.
lives in. And this is a guy that lives in Connecticut. He could live anywhere in the country. He could live near his shops in Philadelphia, Main Line. You know, Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. He could be in Miami. He could be in Cleveland with Gropberg. He's in Connecticut. Okay,
Tim.
I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that these two are, you're comparing apples and oranges. It's like,
Well,
we're not comparing. We're not comparing anything.
Tim.
This is Hodinkee is on the ropes. Hodinkee's almost out of business.
They are.
Tim Masso's taking shot at them. He senses blood in the water, and we're reporting on it. That's all we're
right.
doing.
And we're also,
no, I think it was really. I think this discussion. I think this discussion came about based on Tim Masso's response or the article that he posted, whatever you want to call it, the opinion that he posted, that basically Ben Clymer is not should be disqualified or should not be legitimized because
Maybe
he's been away from this.
Pull back the first post that you brought.
But I wanted to say one thing. When it comes to an interviewer, Tim Maso is not as good as Ben Clymer. Ben Clymer asks a question, sits back, asks a couple of questions, gets deep into the person, and allows the guy talk. Tim Maso is the one that does most of the talking. It's great. That's just totally two different things. Tim Maso can educate you on the watch, whereas Ben Clymer can give you the story behind the watch by getting it out of the collector. So they're totally two different. If I want to get educated and I want to get into the watch, I'll listen to Tim Maso. But the interviews between Tim Maso and the Gotberg, Brian, they're entertaining, but they're not as entertaining when Ben Clymer interviews a collector. I mean, some of his stuff from a dozen years ago, I still go back and watch it. I have not done that with any of Tim Maso's stuff.
Okay, I hear you. Storytelling. Yes. Okay, good.
yeah. So you're saying that Ben Clymer's influence is so impactful. Yes, they're spread out, but when he hits really hard. And so, and I kind of agree. Like Ben Clymer, he hasn't been sitting and just collecting cars and playing golf. He's been making connections. That's why when he came back, he was able to put out 10 banger podcasts, because that's what he's been doing for the past 10 years. He's been making friends, making inroads with these mega celebrities, and he was able to get John Mayer and Ed Sheeran to do a video together talking watches. That was freaking insane interview, and it was like the Avengers Civil War. It was that revolutionary.
But is that going to save the company?
No.
How much revenue did that possibly generate?
Well, Marvel is on the ropes. It's almost bankrupt now. So, yeah. But remember when the Civil War came out, the Avengers, the Civil War, it changed the whole franchise forever.
Good movie.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what that. And then, the interview with Jean Arnaud and Recep Rechepi. Since when Ben Clymer is such good friends with those guys, huh?
He's not.
He's not.
$5 super chat from Grandmaster Chime.
Woo!
Watches tonight, March 4th, featuring viewer questions. Was a Tim Maso maestro performance for the ages. His in-depth, off-the-cuff knowledge is stunning.
It's stunning.
Stunning. Also, a comment from Vimal Nair. This is for Tim G. Sir, love you a lot, but the defense the whole night of Ben Clymer has been a country club membership. That doesn't mean a thing if you damaged your company.
He didn't damage his company. He is the company. That's the thing. So if he leaves,
You can't
If
have
he
a you
leaves,
can't have a
it's
company
done.
that runs on a single personality. You have to develop a culture, a corporate culture that lives and breathes
He didn't want Tim Maso as an employee because it's a different culture. It's obvious. And now Tim Maso has penis envy
well, Tim Maso
over Tim
picked the
Maso.
right.
Tim
He
Maso,
hitched his wagon to the right star, and Tim Maso's the one laughing now.
yeah, until that's what they said about Steve Jobs with Apple in the 1980s too. Okay.
Why am I looking at Nico Leonard right now?
No, because the super chat says, "Whoa, Jack Forrester is on Nico Leonard diet." No, Nico Leonard is fatter, way fatter than Jack.
Why does Nico Leonard have a chain outside of a turtleneck?
He thinks he's that celebrity, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Well, he's very far from The Rock.
Yeah, he
Let me
thinks he's some
start
kind of
this.
celebrity. It's just
I'm not I didn't grow up with Jack Forrester. I don't really love him, to be honest.
He's a great guy, a very smart guy, very influential. He's like Ben Clymer, at WatchBox. Okay, he's that guy.
No, he's
who,
not.
Yeah,
No,
I think
he's not.
like
No,
Ben
he's
Clymer.
saying no, he's not.
No, you're crazy.
He's not. He's far
And to
from
be
it.
fair to Hodinkee, I do like Mark Kozlarek. Mark Kozlarek is that really good photographer and writer there, and we've teamed with him on several projects in the past. We usually see him, like for example, we saw him at the Swatch launch of the the Moon Swatch. Mark Kozlarek was the guy who was in there with us inside the store. We were reporting on the live stream. He was reporting for Hodinkee. I like Mark Kozlarek. I think he does a good job for them. He's a great photographer and good writer there. And I like Danny Milton too over at Hodinkee. Yeah.
Hopefully they won't get fired.
I hope they don't get fired because those guys are two good guys. I think they're the only two good guys left.
Yeah, I myself like Daniel Katz. He was a good reader of Hodinkee.
Daniel Katz is extremely sought after.
So the other thing you have to look at here is Tim Maso joined in
1962.
WatchBox.
Oh, sorry.
19, whatever it is, 16, whatever. But it basically joined WatchBox.
Oh, them.
Ben Clymer invented Hodinkee. Bam.
Yeah, but he invented, but then he left. Then he sold out.
Because he needed a rest. Completely
he didn't have to sell out.
But
okay, well now that he's coming back, he can't just be pretending like nothing happened.
That had already old money influence from Cleveland, Ohio, like Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights, everything else. Joined.
Well, here's the thing.
Joined. Joined.
Tim. Hodinkee, it's like a guy who bankrupts one company and then starts another company. Do you just forget that he bankrupted one? Okay, but Ben Clymer didn't bankrupt anything, but he left it once. What if he leaves again?
That could be Steve Jobs 5 years from now.
Can Ben Clymer be trusted to stick around at Hodinkee, or is he going to bounce once again when the company is doing semi well?
I think Tim G's financial and professional interest in Hodinkee has clouded his judgment. He's completely biased.
I don't think so.
And I think you should just reveal the fact that you have a massive conflict of interest. And if Hodinkee goes down, Tim G goes with it.
No.
Boom.
I love you guys, but that's just BS. So anyway,
how much money are they paying?
How much money did you put into Hodinkee? How much money did you put into Hodinkee, Tim G?
Zero.
Your firm.
I have no interest in Hodinkee. But the thing is, Ben Clymer is Ben Clymer. Tim Maso joined as an employee, W-2, a W-2 form, okay? He joined on a W-2 with a salary.
And what does it show you? That he has so much confidence that he can take on an entrepreneur like Ben Clymer and say, listen, I'm just some working stiff here at 1960 company, but I have the fucking balls. I'll go after Ben Clymer if I want to.
Think about it. A collector, a common collector. Do they come from royalty like Ben Clymer, or are they hardworking businessmen who come from nothing? They come with $4 in their pocket. They come to the country with $4 in their pocket. Who should they buy their watch from? Tim Maso, who was to military. He's a
Tim Maso grew up in fucking. Whoa! Tim Maso is from Huntington, Long Island.
Exactly, rich.
Listen,
Oh.
Rich.
Tim, don't go there.
Well, how rich? How rich was his?
I don't
family?
know.
Well, richer than you,
It's not
Tim.
How
even on
rich
the
can you
same
be if
level
you're
with,
wearing? How
with
rich
Ben
can you be if
Clymer.
you're
Ben
wearing this
Clymer's like
sweater?
royalty.
Listen to me. Upper middle class, bottom wealthy minimum.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I mean,
Buckley's right on, spot on this.
Like
Spot
okay,
on.
the house he grew up in right now, $3 million.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not that bad. That's not like
Okay,
Cheap.
a lot of
no,
people have that in New York.
that's right. It's not. He's
But
not overplaying
Ben
it.
Clymer, how much? What is the net worth of Ben Clymer? Does anybody
Do
know?
we have to know? Come, hold
Rochester.
on.
How much could he have? I mean, it's Rochester.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just say
Uh-huh.
something and I'm gonna leave.
No, don't.
Ben Clymer comes from a wealthy family. I get it. Tim Maso, who I really enjoy, he said some words I think that weren't necessary. He maybe overplayed it. It could have been sort of a feeling of rotten tomatoes. I think Tim Maso was better.
Why is
Could
it
have handled that
unnecessary
better.
to speak? Why is it unnecessary to speak your mind and speak with conviction? These are his feelings. He wants to take a shot at Hodinkee now because he can smell blood in the water. Why not let him? We should
I'm
be
not so
applauding him.
actually OC. I'm not really negative about what Tim Maso said. I'm just playing this advocate for the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Devil's advocate.
So, let me put it this way. Let's say that I totally disagree with Tim Maso. I think maybe he could have said it a little bit better, but he's entitled to say what OC said.
How would you have changed
his
it?
opinion?
How would you have changed it?
I'm not sure, but my
Okay.
point is, I think there's an overemphasis. Here's this guy that owns a company, and he comes from wealth, from royalty, and Ben Clymer would not like
Nothing
to
wrong with
be
that. No,
thought that way.
saying,
Actually,
but people behind, like the customers, should know what kind of background the leaders behind these companies come
How
from,
do you know Ben?
because
Clymer?
it'll tell them more about the company value.
Wait a minute.
Ben
How do you
Clymer
know-
sold the company once, right? Do you want
Yeah.
that to be forgotten? Like that never happened? What if
Yeah,
he
but
sells
what-
the company
but-
again? Imagine you
but
start doing
yeah, I
this.
get it. But what
Let me
context?
explain, Daniel. Because imagine you start building a relationship with Hodinkee, right?
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time buying, selling watches to them. You establish great relationship, and Ben Clymer leaves again, and the company goes to shit, right? Because Ben Clymer did it once in the past, and look where the company is now. So Tim Moss is saying, like, hey, unlike Ben Clymer, who left for 2 hours not to come back and try to save it, I stuck around. I was here for the past 2 years, that when it was tough, and I'm gonna be here for the next 10 years. So
I totally hear you. I totally hear you.
They stand behind their clients.
Okay, Tim, I totally hear you, but I want to know more of the context, because there might have been a situation where he left, where I still respect him. But in terms of coming back to be the lead of the business, I hear you. Even though you respect him, you're saying he shouldn't have been the head of the company. But I'm saying maybe I want to see the context.
He's coming back to milk additional rounds of loans and additional rounds of capital from the investors for one last ditch effort to save this Titanic, the sinking ship. And what he's going to do is screw investors and screw banks out of more money and he's going to take them down with him as this sinking ship plummets.
He wouldn't do it again. He only did it once. He wouldn't do it.
Is he gonna use Chubb OC? That special investor Chubb?
That's Donald Trump's.
I gotta go. Okay. Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Peace out for your contributions, Daniel Katz.
There's too many whites on that stage.
It's all white people.
It's all old white men.
Tim G says it's all white men because they have the money. According
they
to
don't have DEI initiative there. So real quickly, just a completely different animal. Hodinkee is the New York Times of watch.
Yeah, you made that point before. We heard you the first time.
Okay, and
let's read some.
I've got.
I need to read some super chat here.
Read some super
this
chats.
show doesn't pay for itself. I'm still haven't paid the rent for this for this month. I haven't paid the rent.
I hope you get evicted.
To stay on vacation. Okay, just tell your mom.
Guys, if you're enjoying these shows, help me out by becoming members, upvoting, becoming members, super chatting, and donating via PayPal directly. Okay, listen, keep us independent. I don't want to be begging for money. Okay, let's keep going. Lucha Medic.
Super chats. Super chats.
Yeah. Super chats. Let's go through the super chats. Lucha Medic marks watch time. Wait, keeps changing. My God, $5. Tim Massa has shown my watch on his viewers' wristwatches segment 3 times. That gets my vote. Exactly. You see,
Yeah. When's the
because
last
Tim
time
Massa
Ben Clymer?
connects
When's the
to
last time
the
Ben
real
Clymer ever
collector.
featured your watch?
Because Tim Massa talks to the ordinary collector. Luchabetic Mark, watch time. He's one of the real watch collectors. He's not a snooty, like snob nosed guy in the loafers that wears no socks and the sports blazer.
Hey,
Smoking
watch
pipe.
it.
Okay, he's a car salesman. He's a real person with real job and a little bit of disposable income to be able to buy a really good quality wristwatch that can last him a lifetime. Boom! OC91, $5 super chat. Tim G is the biggest tweed supplier in the country. Hodinkee is his biggest customer. 45% of total business. He's biased. Tweed. He buys tweed. There's awful lot of tweed on Hodinkee.
You know it's hilarious.
Hold on, Tim G. More super chat. Hold on.
No. I have to defend myself.
Okay,
here.
defend yourself. Go.
OC91 is a pretty cool guy, so I can't say anything bad. However, he's never seen me, and he never will.
Mm-hmm.
When will we ever see Tim G?
When we'll see. I mean, he burnt so many bridges. He said things that he can never show his face. He's done.
Hey, I'm still on, right?
Yeah. Actually, I think it will be illegal. If you ever go on a live stream and people find out,
we won't knock on your door at 3:00 in the morning and take all your files like some other party does. Especially when you have the goods on them.
Yeah, Michael Paris. Thank you so much for being member for 19 months. Honestly, never knew much about Tim Massa. Been watching for years, but I trust Timmy. Vote for him. By the way, guys, you're not gonna freaking believe this. We had this poll running. Who do you respect the most in the watch space? And the choices were Tim Massa or Ben Clymer. And I threw myself in there just as a joke. Guess what? 54% of the audience rightly voted for Tim Massa. And then the second most respected person out of those 3 is Tim Wright. Can you believe it? 28% of the audience respect Tim Wright more than Ben Clymer, who came in 3rd with only 14% of the vote.
Tim Wright,
we need
by
to
the
get
way,
him on the stream. He needs to regain some of his reputation. Respect. Link for Ben Clymer. Okay, sorry.
I was doing something exit polling on that, and it turns out that Tim Wright actually polled number 1 with the Indian bot farms. So, Indian bot farms preferred Tim Wright 2-1 over Tim Massa.
Not that, but I think it's also the Vietnamese bot farms.
And Paul. I mean, this is hilarious.
Whole Milk member for 16 months. Tim Maso is the only veteran that Tim Wright supports. It's funny.
That's hilarious. Whole Milk is good. This is good stuff. Barodi, $10 super chat. Impromptu announcement due to financial difficulties that Tim Wright show will be moving to Toronto and broadcasting from Daniel Katz's boiler room. Nice.
That's pretty funny.
Too cold.
It's hard, guys. I'm not gonna lie. The wristwatch market squeeze has affected
everything. That's why all these influencers are all like trying to figure out what to do.
Hey, listen to this, Tim. It's no joke. I'm glad that when things were going great, I didn't go out and buy myself a car and put down a mortgage on the new apartment. Okay, because the good times didn't last. That was about 1 year, and now back to the poverty. Okay, let's just keep going here. DTM 121 says devil's advocate is another word for inauthenticity. This show is at its best when you shooting the shit, not performing. Nobody's performing anything in this show. This is actually, I think, how a lot of people feel. And
Well,
let us know, what do you think about this whole?
I think Sean was really
He
spot
summed it
on.
up really well.
Yes, I thought as an independent, like a Switzerland, he summed it up very, very well. Okay, so that's why Sean owns the BMW dealership in California, and everyone should buy from him. Okay.
We
Look.
are heading into hour 3 of the show tonight. If you're just joining us, first of all, hit the like button, upvote the stream. Just to recap, Hodinkee has gone through its 5th round of workforce reductions, 5th round of bitter and draconian layoffs. The company is teetering on the edge, and Tim Maso has taken to public posts on Facebook to share his disdain. Just to recap what Tim Maso recently said, this happened a few days ago. Ben's recent resurfacing on YouTube and podcasts looks like a Hail Mary from ownership to reconnect with the audience from the site's peak a decade ago. He's been playing golf and buying cars for the last few years after getting his payout up front. Nothing wrong with that, but you have to live in the watch space full time and keep your head in the game if you want to remain relevant to the kind of audience that has made Hodinkee what it is, or what it was for the first 10 years. Stopping by for the yearly interview with Jean-Claude Bivet or whoever the CEO of AP is these days isn't enough.
He took not only a shot, though. This is what is bad. He not only took a shot at Ben Clymer, but he took a shot at AP. And basically, if I was AP,
no, what he's saying is these fucking frivolous kumbaya interviews without asking the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
Or what he's
just writing each other's bites.
That's what he does. That's what he does. I mean, he like someone's mentioned, he tells the story of the whole thing. He doesn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of embellishment that's going on, a lot of bullshit, kind of a lot of fake stories that are. Did you hear about the latest?
I don't know about that, but you know, that's.
Well, this is according to Periscope. This is according to Periscope, who's been doing groundbreaking investigative journalism. Yep. Yeah, and he's basically breaking the story that this sea dweller that's now being that has resurfaced on an auction has previously been. See, look at this. It's been in the video with Ben Clymer, and people are trying to misrepresent where this watch came from. They're giving it new background story, but the reality is that this watch was, Ben Clymer had involvement in kind of promoting this watch. I mean, this type of video where they laid out every single sea dweller, right? This is what makes art important. This is what advertises and sets people on, like, this is how you make something valuable. Is you present it and explain why this one is so rare, why it's one of a kind. This is kind of like, this is all being described in this book that I got recently. One second.
Let the record reflect that the book that Tim is about to spruik has nothing to do with original OC. I do not support the spruiking of the book. I have nothing to do with the book, and it doesn't reflect the views and opinions of the original OC. Thank you.
This thing right here. Check this out. Get the picture, OC. This book. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. A mind-bending journey among the inspired artists and obsessive art fiends who taught me how to see. Okay, and this is videos like this. This is educating collectors or people who will be collectors how to see and where to look for value.
Do we have to put up the sponsored products link after spruiking that gift, that free book?
This gift that wasn't from the writer. The gift wasn't from the writer.
Okay.
Yeah, it was from a friend of the show.
This segment may contain sponsored products.
It's product placement for things that I believe in, right? I'm not being paid to sponsor this.
Exactly.
This is just cool stuff that I myself use and read. And if you want to get an insight into how I see things is that you should join me by reading similar material as I do, because then when I say something on the show, you'll understand that, hey, Tim got that idea from this book that I read with him. So join me. It's like a book club.
Join Tim.
Join me. Get the picture. I'll drop the link to
Tim Writes Book Club coming soon.
Tim Writes Book Club. I'll drop the link to the Amazon.
And nothing can make you see more clearly than these fantastic sunglasses from Oliver Peoples. The Roger Federer collection launched, and you can access the Roger Federer collection. Good friend of mine and co-brand ambassador of Oliver Peoples at oliverpeoples.com.
Amazing stuff.
Thank you.
I love Oliver.
Or you can go to Madison Avenue in New York and just pick some up.
That's where I bought these. I was Humble Pine was with me, Tim was with me, and I think Buckley was
that's where me. That's where I get mine. So
shout out to the team at Oliver People's Boutique on Madison Avenue in Manhattan. The best in the business.
They're cool guys.
Is it like 86th Street, Madison?
No, it's like in the 50s. I think it's around 50.
There we go. There you go. I don't know. I always mix up.
It's stuff. Right. 56, something like that.
But you see it, this kind of leadership and kind of pointing, giving collectors a direction to go into, guidance on what to collect, has been missing from Hodinkee, because Hodinkee was no longer interested in curating what are tasteful watches right now, and they became a business that was just selling watches. They were just spruiking everything that was coming their way. That's how I saw it, at least.
We did reach out to Hodinkee for comment. They chose not to provide a comment, or they did not get back to us.
It is what it is.
So what is that? Is that the Core Club you had up?
Oh yeah, Core Club.
There you go. You should check it out sometime.
Is this some kind of secret society for rich old money elitists?
It's secret society for very wealthy people in New York.
Really? Oh man. How do we get an invite? I would like to go there.
You just walk in, Timmy.
You walk in? Where's the entrance?
There's no cell phones, so you have to keep your cell phone in your
No live streaming allowed? That's fine.
No live stream.
Oh, is it in those two buildings? I think those are Trump.
You've never heard of it? You've never heard of it? No, well, there's the Core condos that you don't want, but it's the Core Club that you want to go to. I'm surprised you've never.
There's one in Milan, one in San Francisco. Oh, is this pyramid in San Francisco? Oh, it is. Look at that. Yeah. It's Golden Gate Bridge.
There is one in San Fran.
How much does a membership cost? How do I get an invite? Can Ben Clymer take me inside with him as a guest, as a +1?
I'm not going to answer any of those questions.
There you go.
Interesting.
You know, we have that friend who's the big Lanka collector.
Yeah.
And we saw him at the Zenith event. He was across the street at the Harvard Club. He is at the Harvard Club 6 nights a week. And
what is he doing there?
It's like, you know, it's like, hey, you know, I really love to try the dessert at the Harvard Club one time. He's like, yeah, we'll make that happen. It's like,
oh, cool.
I'm waiting. Cool. I'm waiting.
You're waiting on the message on the Instagram, right? Reply. Yeah, interesting stuff. This is a very interesting.
It was a good story. Good story. Listen, times are tough at Hodinkee. We've known it for a while, and this story, we weren't actually going to cover Hodinkee that much, but now that Tim Maso made some interesting comments about it, we thought it was newsworthy.
So, you've never been to the Harvard Club on 44th Street before?
I have not. Okay. I've seen it from the outside.
All right, interesting. All right,
I didn't go to Harvard.
You don't need to go to Harvard.
I know, but you need to be a guest. You need to be a guest of somebody who's a member.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
I don't. You know, do I know people who went to Harvard? Are they on this live stream? Maybe
I didn't go to Harvard, but I think nobody expected that I did go. So. I don't think anybody is disappointed. Like, oh no, Tim didn't go to Harvard. Harvard's cool, but it's expensive. What I find really disappointing is that they have that system where it's like you're grandfathered in. If your parents graduated from Harvard,
it's called a legacy.
Yeah. What the fuck? Legacy? What is this
Yeah.
bullshit?
I don't know.
Hey,
It happens at
privilege is passed down from generation to generation. Just ask Patek Philippe.
Look, that's why it kind of. I like it when people shake a little bit. They rattle the cage. Like, hey, like these guys, like Ben Clymer, he shouldn't take the respect he gets from the collectors for granted, right? He shouldn't be a dick about it. I think that's what it's all about. Tim
Yeah.
Maso is calling out like Ben, like you have a lot of fans, and and you're taking them for granted, right? Like he was missing for 2 years. Now he's coming back, and he's gonna pretend like nothing happened. How about an explanation for your fans? How about that? I think they deserve an explanation. Hey, Brody.
What's going on?
Brody, how
Yo.
are you?
Oh man, this is where we're still kind of going through this mind-bending feud between Tim Maso and Ben Clymer.
I don't
But
think.
we're just about to wrap
Can
up
I,
with this subject. We're going to talk a little bit about
can
watches.
I don't think he's beefing. I know it kind of comes off though. I don't think he's beefing with Ben. I think he's beefing with Hodinkee. Because
Well, it's kind of both.
I mean, look, you know, you own a company, you sell it, you leave, right? Nothing wrong with that. Tim says that they made the decision to pay him the money up front. It's up to them to figure out how to manage the company and continue to make it work. He cashed out, he left. If that was the deal, that was the deal. Why is that Ben Clymer's fault? If the investors in Hodinkee thought that Ben was so important to remain as the face of the company and be on camera for the 2 or 3 years that he was absent, they should have built that into the deal.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Bingo. I
he's
agree with you
reminding these
100%.
guys that, like, hey, Ben Clymer coming back is not guaranteed that he's going to stay there, right? He's saying that WatchBox is better, more trustworthy company than Hodinkee, right? If Hodinkee done it once, there might do it again. Like Ben Clymer did not made an announcement that this is a permanent return to Hodinkee. He's always going to be on the board of directors there for the next 10 years, right? He hasn't made any kind of promise. But his return, people are getting way too enthusiastic and they're trying to jump back into warm embraces of Hodinkee way too quickly. And Tim Moss was saying, "Hey, guys, that's a little bit of bullshit, right? Don't be so easily make Hodinkee, make Ben Clymer make a promise that he's not going to leave the way that he left previously, right? Like don't just give him like support for nothing because they need it, right? Make sure you get guarantees in return. That's kind of my feeling. He wants Ben to make a promise, some kind of a promise that they're not going to leave like that it did in the past, right? Absentee, look, a case study in equity money and absentee ownership gone wrong. I wonder how many of the Silicon Valley investors from 2015 actually go home at night and surf the web looking at watches until 11 p.m. Right? These guys.
Right. He's not blaming Ben Clymer. He's blaming the people who bought Hodinkee from Ben Clymer. They're the absentee owners. Ben Clymer's not the absentee owner. He's the former owner.
No, but that's what he's saying. He is like Ben Clymer was not there at Hodinkee.
No, Tim, you're right because he sold the company. He's not the owner.
But
the
there was
absentee
no
owners
owner.
that
I think Tim Moss's point is that when Ben Clymer left, there was no one who was in charge. There was no face of the company.
No. I don't
want that Ben Clymer was involved. In fact, Brody.
No, I agree with Brody on this, so I'm going to intervene and just say that the fact of the matter is, I didn't Hodinkee when Ben Clymer left. They were let me talk. They were rudderless. So basically, they went in the direction of hype, and they bought a secondary store in Atlanta, and
Caliber.
they started to get into other shop goods that, I don't know if they were selling TVs on their website or whatever, but pretty close. It was pretty bad. They were rudderless. Let's just put it that way. So the CEO's fault in this was that there was no direction. They were just going wherever the hype was. The culture class was huge in the sense of this uptight, Soho, trendy, white boy, New York firm versus a blue collar, Atlanta, never been outside of Georgia, secondary store. So those two items did not mix. It's almost like when Bank of America bought Merrill Lynch because they had to during the 2008 crisis. Those cultures were bad. So long story short, completely different thing. Now Ben Clymer is Hodinkee. They probably need to peel off a ton of people. They might have to go just with Ben Clymer like Tim Wright does, with Tim Wright just being by himself without any video people or anything like that.
Yeah.
But Ben Clymer will be fine. Ben Clymer is Ben Clymer. I follow Ben Clymer. If he's with someone like John Mayer or some XYZ high-end person, I'm going to watch that. Tim Maso I watch daily, but I flip it on and I'm driving my car like from Boston to New York City watching Tim Maso. I'll listen to Ben Clymer. All right, these other yo-yos that the Hodinkee have on right now, they're not important. They're not.
Well, don't you see it? That's a problem.
Hodinkee. It's a huge problem.
They had 2 years,
and those are the people that they need to peel off. Okay, it's that simple. Why is that guy interviewing that guy with the beard is beyond me. Tim Maso is Tim Maso. So anyway, we'll see what happens. The watch market has still a long way to go down. A long way. I see brands going down. I see a lot of problems. But I mean, Patek will always be around. Rolex will always be around. Maybe, who knows? We may be able to get a Daytona without a wait list. Who knows in 3 years?
Ooh. Well, I got to tell you, the market must be good because I got kicked out of an authorized dealer earlier today. That's how good the market is going. That they're willing to kick out customers. We were looking at a Guinness
showed up
watch.
He showed up in Nike shorts and Hokas and
exactly. Yeah.
No, I was in jeans and jacket actually at that time.
And a 50-pound backpack.
No backpack. I just had my camera and that's it. We were just going for lunch, and I thought, hey, last time they were kind of cool. Let's stop by with the roommate. Take a look at the watch you wanted to take a look at.
Tim, great coverage of this topic tonight. Brody and Tim G, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to have some dinner. I'll see you guys later. Tim, great job tonight. Have a good one.
Thank you. I thought it was an important subject to cover.
Was the roommate yelling at you as you were entering into the?
Roommate wasn't helping because she was escalating.
Okay, well, there you go. Maybe that's why
she was siding with the sales associate, and I don't need to be. Like the roommate was wrong, and she decided to take the wrong side of the sales associate. It was ridiculous, but you know how roommate is, right? She doesn't want any trouble, never. It's just it's annoying. Baron Billy Jeans, by the way, just to answer this final thing, as we're wrapping up this subject, it says it sounds like Tim Maso is jealous because Ben got a bag. Maybe even the Brink trunk. Fuck the promise, doesn't it show? Ben is the better businessman. Now we don't know. I mean, I don't know how much money Ben got after selling Hodinkee, but I'll tell you what, Tim Maso is not a fool either. I mean, he has a big chunk invested in 1916 company and the WatchBox. I think.
How do you know that Tim Maso has money invested in WatchBox in 1916 company?
He's gotta be because he's like.
No, I don't think that's. Unfortunately, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah,
He might,
yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
gotta be. No, guys,
This is-
if there's somebody if somebody has any proof or has heard from reliable source whether
He's a
Tim
he's
Masso,
a
he's gotta be
W-2.
paid in stocks. Come
And
on.
nothing wrong with this because I am too. He's a W-2 employee. Okay.
No, he's gotta be paid in
He's a
stocks.
W-2 employee.
No
There's
shot.
no way that these guys from Connecticut are going to give him a
You
share.
think these guys are paying him $60,000?
No, he's getting he's getting a cut. but
Not a
he's-
month, a year.
He's
Like a
getting a
standard
cut, but
salary? Come on.
he's not getting a stock. He's not getting stock or anything.
He's not getting a teacher salary. He's getting a percentage. He's got to go for percentage. He's that involved. Business, like the WatchBox business is Tim Masso.
No,
Hey,
that's
small G.
not true.
Can you contribute to this? Do you know anything about
G, you
Tim
can know.
Masso's business?
Come here.
stake?
Yeah, come here to defend Ben Clymer.
Oh, damn. Never
Oh
mind.
man,
Okay, yeah, go
I
ahead.
love you. Good.
Okay, sorry.
No wonder we get along.
Okay.
Yeah, W2 guy is just a sniper from WatchBox.
No.
Oh,
Tim
that's
Masso
a
is
beautiful.
W2.
That's a
No,
beautiful.
come on.
That's a beautiful adjective. That's he's a sniper. I like it.
Yeah, he's kind. Come on, just shoot down the Hodinkee. I mean,
Well, it's a
Yeah.
bit of a revenge, right?
you know,
Apparently, Tim
think-
Masso in the past applied to work at Hodinkee, and Ben Clymer was the one who rejected Tim Masso. So why should Tim Masso now? Why should Tim Masso be showing mercy when Ben Clymer is trying to get back into the business? No, there's no mercy, right? He's showing Ben Clymer's true colors, right?
Ben Clymer is doing the right thing on Hodinkee right now.
Well, he's doing the right thing for the business, man. He's
No,
killing
he
it. Like from
fired
business perspective,
all
the
the-
way he's playing the whole corporate game, it's professional.
It's good for Hodinkee. You know, they need to get rid of irrelevant people.
But let me ask you this, Small G. What's good for Hodinkee? Is it good for the collector? Think about that. OC, hey OC, we've got shout out to Waco. Thank you for hopping on the panel. Thank you. Welcome to the show, Waco. I actually value
cannot-
Waco's opinion a lot. He's a very hardworking guy. I don't know where does he have the time to review all the watches he reviews, travel as much as he freaking travels, memorize all the facts about every single watch that he reviews, and he has time to exercise and to take care of his family. My God, the guy is a freaking legend. Legend.
By the way,
Like,
Tim, I think I'm going to meet him next week.
whoa, well, you shake his hand and tell him that
He's going to be. I'm
I said
going
hi.
to an event in Newport Beach that WatchBox that the 1916 company is putting on, and he's supposed
Yeah.
to be there.
oh man, you're gonna really like this
Is the
guy. And
19 is the
he's got his own
1916
style too. What the fuck?
Is the 1916? Is that in LA also?
Well, they have Hyde Park Jewelers in Newport Beach. Is a
Oh,
1916
wow.
company.
I did not know that. Okay, got it. Are you near the Newport Beach area?
I'm in LA County, but
I got it. Okay.
I'm gonna make.
Hey,
I'm gonna
Brody,
make
Brody, what
little
part of
trip.
Chicago? What part of Chicago were you from? North Shore or West?
Yeah, North Shore, Glenview.
Yeah, got it. Okay, got it.
Waco is definitely the most stylish amongst the three titans, and I think this is the three titans, right? You got Revolution. That's the third biggest publication editorial, right? After Hodinkee and WatchBox, right? You've got in third place, you got Waco. And yes, he's not respected as much as Tim Masso for his watch knowledge, but the guy is sharp. He knows all the new stuff.
You're talking about the guy, Revolution guy?
The Revolution guy, Waco. Yeah, and
The issue I have you ever seen his magazine? Have you ever seen the magazine?
yeah, I love the magazine.
Okay, every fourth page is him in it.
Yeah, well, he's the model. It's like cheap model. You understand? He does like he uses himself as a model, so you don't have to get those permission slips, right? Because if you're using someone else, you have to get the rights, and it's just absolute pain in the ass. So he just uses himself as a model, and for to be able to do that, look, he freaking looks good, and he's got unique sense of style. Like Tim Maso, he doesn't have any sense of style. He doesn't care about the whole. He just wears simple stuff. There's no like cool stuff. Ben Clymer, very generic. I love Ben Clymer, but you look at the Ben Clymer style. Okay, like how he's dressed here. He's just dressed like any other hipster in New York City, right? It's not very impressive. All right, it's good look, very clean, but I gotta say, Waco, this guy doesn't get enough respect. I think he's a influencer beyond than just watches. He's also a style influencer, and I think watch collectors should look after themselves the way Waco does. Right? You should be inspired by whoever you're following. Anyways, but all three dudes are pretty cool. But yeah, Waco. Why do people do not respect Waco as much as why isn't Waco in the conversation between when it's between Tim Maso and Ben Clymer? What's the negative? What do people don't like about Waco?
I don't have any negative about him. I don't have anything.
Yeah?
I think he gives good content.
Yeah.
I like this. I like the Swiss watch guy. How do you like that one?
Is it too weird? Is it his look like
No, I like him. I think he does a good job.
the Hawaiian shirts with cool pants? Is it too much? Like,
I don't know. I think his pants are fine. It caters to him, but he's on every fourth page in his magazine.
But you think maybe maybe that turns away some of the collectors because it's too polarized, it's too stylish. I don't know.
I think he's too into me, where Ben Clymer could be too much into me, but he's not. He doesn't show it.
I gotta say, I love those pink pants because I was actually known for wearing pink shorts at the London Watch Show. So
there you go. And you wear bunny ears, so it's all good.
Yeah. Oh man, if I see Waco with bunny ears on, I'm gonna lose it. That'd be funny. But yeah, Brody, what do you think about this whole mess?
About what?
Is Revolution going to be the ultimate winner here? Are they slowly going to, like, these two guys are going to fight out, and Revolution is just going to stay out of it, and then bam, suddenly everybody's going to be in.
No. Revolution, they're not getting. Nobody else is getting involved in this. Waco's pretty focused. He's doing his own thing. Yeah. He's doing fine. He's projecting a sort of hipper sort of image for the brand. I mean, the way Hodinkee does it is through John Mayer and Ed Sheeran, but Waco does it in different ways, right? He's, if you go to their websites, more hip. He's meeting a lot more micro brands and newer collectors, and he's got a little bit of a different spin on it that I think resonates better with young people. That's my opinion.
Yeah. He's more open-minded. He's like, his appeal is broader than other guys. Yeah.
Tim. He is the Hawaiian Tim Wright. Just look at that outfit.
I know it's got a little bit of overlap there. No, but this guy, some people, well, nobody actually thinks that I'm dedicated, but if there was someone who was thinking that I'm dedicated to doing my show, I've seen Waco in Dubai Watch Week putting on the shows at the presentations for different watchmakers there. My God, this guy works hard. He is determined, and he loves what he's doing, and he's just like, he's putting everything into this pursuit. You can see it, right? Revolution.
He is passionate about it and shows. in every video he does, in every interview he does. You know, when Ben interviews somebody, he just kind of sits there. I mean, you watch those talking watches with Ben and John Mayer. Ben just kind of sits there. He doesn't really say anything. He doesn't have a big personality.
Ben
I mean,
asks
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just not. It's not as engaging. That's just the way it is. So I think Revolution's, even though they're in the same business, their approach, you know, is completely different.
Yeah, Waco is very, very interesting. He's very involved. Look, he's got an opinion on every watch. He's extremely involved in Revolution. My only problem with Revolution is that he is kind of the Ben Clymer of Revolution. I mean, he's the only one at the company that is like a personality that could hold the company going, the kind of and directing. Like, for example, there's some other there's other writers, but they're not as prominent and not as kind of promoted as Waco is. And my worry is that, hey, you know, if he goes away, Revolution is going to.
That's exactly correct. Just like if Tim Wright goes away, Tim Wright LLC will go away.
Right, yeah, but that's with any small startup company. Revolution's new. He needs a lot more time to probably scale, and he, you know, if he wants this thing to go on after his ability to, you know, to put all this energy into it and do this full time and all that, he's going to have to develop, you know, on screen type talent to do the kind of things that he's doing. And if he doesn't do that, you're right. But Ben Clymer was never a big on screen, you know, compelling talent. I really don't think that Ben's absence is the reason that they failed. I think the reason they failed is because they went from strictly a company that was like kind of news reporting and articles and covering the watch industry to they went big into retail. And like OC said, they went big into retail during the hype. They bought at the high. They got stuck with a bunch of inventory that was underwater and stopped selling. And that's not a great business model, right? So I don't think that Ben Clymer coming back is going to generate a bunch of revenue for him. I just don't.
I mean, look at this. Hodinkee went from where Ben Clymer is interviewing John Mayer and getting 5.1 million views 4 years ago, right? To let's just going to before Ben Clymer came back. Before Clymer came back for round 2, they were doing some videos where they're talking about Omega's latest releases. I mean, actually, this was pretty good video. This one was pretty good. But like, who are these two guys? Like, what is this? What the?
So actually, I'm going to defend that guy. I had dinner with him.
Oh yeah.
But Brendan Maso. No, not that guy.
There's not enough videos of him explaining, you know, and doing more commentary. He's completely unknown to most people. Wait, tell me about this guy on the right.
No,
what about the guy?
You were gonna go to that Omega video.
Okay. That was actually a good video. That was they went to, but even like this guy that does this video, 33,000 views. I mean, like who is this guy?
So Brandon? He was a staff writer. He was a staff writer who got let go late last year.
Yeah, you see it. Like they didn't like
his name. Yeah, his name's Brendan Maso.
Yeah,
good guy. Really good guy. Had dinner with him 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
In LA.
Where is he today?
I don't know what he's doing. Looking for a job, I guess.
See, you like he could have been like a Jack Forrester. I mean, he was there. He created a couple of videos. He did this commentary on here, and then he was let go. He was not given enough time to develop his kind of following.
So what happened was they continue to build up staff and create all this sort of editorial content. and a lot of coverage content about watches. And at the same time, their more expensive part of the business, the retail part of the business, where they were buying and selling watches, was way underwater. And that was what was supporting the editorial content. Because the editorial content probably doesn't bring in money no matter how good your editorial writers are. That's the issue. And if they're not bringing money in for the editorial content,
well, maybe they were overpaid.
You need
What do you mean?
a revenue source that can cover that. And the retail side of the business wasn't covering it. So what are you going to do?
How can it not be covered? Like,
because
how much
the
are they
watch
paying
market took a dump, Tim. You know that.
Expensive.
The watch market took a dump. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
So, so that's why, but that's how do you think Waco makes money? He makes money. He doesn't make money writing the articles. I mean, he gets some ad money, but he needs to do those collabs to bring in money from selling watches.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, there's multiple streams where Waco makes money. He does make some money on ad revenue, some money on YouTube, right? There's YouTube sponsorships.
Right.
There's YouTube. Like he's got Instagram. He's got probably he's probably got people who are sending him kind of things like make a post about this on Instagram and he gets some money for that. Like he's got an agent who brings in work for him probably. And he's also like he was a guest host at Dubai Watch Week, right? Dubai Watch Week was a free show, but they probably paid for his flight there. They paid him for his speakership role because he's a well-respected kind of guy in the watch space who knows a lot about watches. And
I'll say this: I don't know if Dubai Watch Week paid him anything to show up there.
I don't know either, but like I would expect that they should have. He was working his ass off.
No, it was for his benefit that he went there. It wasn't for their benefit. It wasn't.
Well, he does
benefit. It was
from
for
it
his
as well because he gets content out of it that he gets to post on YouTube. But that
he's got.
Hey, no,
but he's doing it. He's doing it in a more conservative way. He's got a small staff. He's not going heavy into retail, right? So he doesn't have the risk of being underwater with a lot of inventory. And he's got a small staff that provides editorial content, videos, and YouTube. Okay, so he doesn't have a lot of risk on the table. And that's why he's got a better chance of kind of surviving as long as he stays involved. And he's a young enough guy and he seems to have the energy. So.
Trapped in DC, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says it's 80 degrees today in Washington, DC.
Yay, global warming. Yes.
It was hot in New York as well.
Yeah, there you go.
I went for lunch in the jacket and then came back home, took it off, put shorts on, and I was able to walk around in just shorts and t-shirt. It's insanely hot. I think this year could be. Imagine if it gets like 100 degrees hot this year in the summer. Holy shit! Maybe people are going to wake up finally. This is bad. Michael Paris, $2 super chat. Waco is okay. He speaks like a regular guy, but he's not a regular guy. He comes from a really well-off family as well. Correct?
It doesn't matter whether he comes from a well-off family or not. Tim, he connects with people. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter
but
whether...
I'm not saying that he does. He obviously he's very how would you say, he's very approachable. Like he's not a snub. I met him at the IWC event over here in New York. Just he's a cool guy. He was talking to everybody there. He brought the Vuitton. He had like full titanium Vuitton. Pretty cool. But I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, listen, if he comes from a wealthy family, I think people should know that. But I don't know. And do you know or you don't know that?
I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I don't
Not that
pay
it matters,
attention to
but
I know, but you always bring up whether somebody came from money or didn't come from money.
No, they brought this up because Tim Maso was saying in the thing he mentioned some stuff, and people brought up that Tim Maso was in military. So anyways, I was just replying to.
Oh no, it's okay. I mean, to me, it doesn't really. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me where these guys come from, or what their family background is, or all that. If they're knowledgeable and they provide good content, and I find them interesting, that's great. If not, not.
Yeah,
don't
I
really
think
care about it.
I like the somebody's background, because I think it does, at the end of the day, where somebody comes from, it shades how they see the watch hobby. And I like seeing both of those sides come together, because this watch hobby, it's like there's a lot of crossover. There's all kinds of people in here. And yeah, anyways, I just I like
So
understanding
so
how everybody thinks.
Rose is saying it matters. Spending your family's money to create mags that lose money isn't an accomplishment. I agree with that.
No.
But I'm saying, but I don't care whether he's accomplishing something personally or not, or whether he thinks it's a personal accomplishment or he's successful financially. It doesn't.
I
None of
think
that matters to
extremely
me.
successful. He's a
None of
genius.
that matters to me. None of that matters to me. If he creates good content that I like, I watch it. I don't count other people's money.
It's beyond content, Brody.
I just don't
think
care.
the guy is a genius. It's because it's beyond just content. He's running a business, and he's juggling all these things, and he's balancing it with his life.
Yeah.
The guy is he's brilliant. He's brilliant. So in the same way as Ben Clymer is not a dumbass, right? He understands corporate structure, right? He's running they're running their businesses. All of these three guys, they're running their businesses in three different ways. Ben Clymer, he's like a hedge fund. He's coming into this from, right, like, he knows celebrity endorsements. He's got connections to like Wall Street, right? He's the kind of guy who would be able to take Hodinkee public. I mean, I don't even know. Is it public or is it still private? I mean,
No,
it's not public. But like, this is the kind of animal he is. He's from that he comes from that perspective. And Tim Maso, they come from like just the grind of flipping, watches on the gray market, buying cheap, reselling high. And that's where Tim Maso comes from. He comes from that kind of Diamond District kind of situation, right? So it's three different guys running business in three different ways. Like, the culture of each company is so different from each other. And it's
Tim,
just
your imagination is out of control right now.
What?
You're just imagining what these people's
What do you
lives
mean?
are
I mean,
like.
aren't you
You're just
seeing how
imagining these things, and you're painting this picture like it's hilarious.
Because I've been there. I've watched Waco do his job. I've been next to him.
How do you know that that's where Tim Maso comes from, the Diamond District, and that's
he's running his
and he was
business.
used to flipping watches. He's not flipping watches for WatchBox. He's providing video content.
Like Luxury Bazaar, if Luxury Bazaar succeeded and took their business to the next level. It's from that kind of background that kind of WatchBox. Well, and also like, because think about it, Govberg, he has an authorized dealership, right, where he sells authorized watches, and this part is the part that worked on the secondary market, but they changed the perspective of the secondary market, where it's no longer this dirty thing where people just flip these watches that might be modified or could come from shady backgrounds, and they flipped it into a legitimate business where respectable collectors are selling art pieces to each other. That's how WatchBox changed the perspective of what gray market is. They changed the definition of the gray market. Anyways, they legitimize.
I don't see it that way, but I lack your imagination, Tim.
Okay. Well, I'm just describing how I see it based on just being in this hobby for as long, and like obsessing about this hobby for as long as I did. Michael Paris, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Timmy is a trust fund baby, just like Waco. What? Well, I don't know. Like, seriously, someone invented this this thing. I don't know why people keep repeating it that I'm a trust fund. I don't have a trust fund. I wish I had. My mom came to United States in 1996 or 1997 when I was 1 year old, and she worked her way up, married a much wealthier guy, who was here, but also the guy who kind of also worked his way up, who came here and worked just like construction. So my family comes from really like humble backgrounds. I mean, from Ukraine. My mom is from Ukraine. It's insane. She would for a living, what she would do, she would travel from one city in Ukraine to Poland to buy kind of underwear and bring it back to our town and resell it. Like she had this resale business for for different underwear. It's incredible stuff, and she was doing that for the longest time until she got an opportunity to come to United States. And yeah, and then she brought me in 2013. She was able to secure documents. Anyways, I'm not running any type of business like these guys, right? We're just observing and trying to understand how these companies work so that we could be better informed consumers. Right? That's what we're trying to do, Brody, right?
Right. But I'm just saying, I don't care. I could care less about their backgrounds. I could care less whether or not their businesses are successful or not successful. It just boils down to if they provide good content that people find interesting and useful. That's all that really matters. I find Tim Maso's videos really helpful and interesting and useful when you're considering buying a watch. He's a good go-to first place to go, because you could likely, whatever watch you're looking for, you could likely find a Tim Maso 5 to 7 minute review video that's really helpful and useful, at least as a first step. I think Waco provides a lot of energy. You see a lot of stuff on his platform that you don't see on other platforms, because he doesn't just cover Rolex and AP and Patek. He covers a lot more of the independents than a lot of the other guys do. He does it live. He does it on hand. And so I find his stuff in that regard really, really helpful and useful, and he brings a lot of youthful energy to it. That's my opinion of Waco. Hodinkee is a little more pedestrian, right? I mean, the most people get excited when Hodinkee has interviews with Ed Sheeran and John Mayer, and other than that, schnorr, right? So
that was mind blowing when
they're a little more pedestrian. That's it.
This interview was the most insane video that collectors have been hoping for.
Can I tell you, I didn't watch this video.
Oh,
I did not watch this video. I didn't watch it. I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh, you have to watch it, bro.
The reason is, if you ever watch interviews with most musicians or artists, when they're sober, it's really, really boring. They're not really all that interesting. You know what I'm saying?
I find it. No, but there's
was this a riveting interview, or was it pretty much boring? I'll bet most people thought it was pretty boring. The ones who watched it.
Okay, well, let's do a poll. Okay, let's do a poll.
It's really good.
Oh, excuse me.
Small G, you thought it was good.
It's really good. You should watch that. It's not that boring.
Oh, hey, here we go. Buckley wouldn't lie. Buckley, tell Brody, how was the interview, and be as honest as possible.
It was an ad for AP.
There you go.
It was an advertisement for AP.
Yeah, it is.
It was from start to finish. Went over the AP journey, and I don't know how anyone could say anything otherwise. The entire video was about AP. They're both wearing jumbos. They talk about multiple different APs, and at the end of it, they go get Spider-Man together. That, not normal. John Mayer, even more of a conspiracy. Now John Mayer is the fucking consultant of design over at AP or whatever he is.
Mm-hmm.
It brought a Okay. That didn't just happen. That's been in the plans. So that means this video, what happened here, I think, was Ben Clymer's like, hey, my company's in the shitter, John. Can you come help me out? And he said, sure, Ben, but I'm going to be taking on this role. Can we make it around AP with a creative twist on it so it doesn't come across as so much as an ad, right? Boom, there you go. There's the conspiracy. It's a fucking AP ad. That's
Ooh.
50%. Let's put it this way.
Well, if you're good to AP, then maybe AP said, "Hey, if you're really nice, if you're really good about AP, if you talk really well, say good things about AP, we'll do a collab with you." I mean, we could say that if we were cynical.
It already happened before the video. They already worked all that out.
But why do we have to be cynical? I actually think it's the other way around. I think actually these guys really like, because their main passion is in music. Like, let's be honest, like, they don't have to talk about watches. Yes, they're doing these collabs with these companies and they're probably getting some kickback for that. But I think this is beyond just money. I truly think that John Mayer and Ed Sheeran, I think they actually like watches.
I'm not talking
as a hobby.
No, they like watches. I don't doubt their sincere love for watches. But I mean, the way they talk about them, the way they present them, I mean, is it really all that interesting? I don't know. I've never found.
I think it's a unique perspective that humanizes John Mayer and Ed Sheeran, because a lot of people look at these guys as gods. Like, how many girls did, or like 10 out of 10 superstars did John Mayer?
All of them.
Banged. All of them, right? Like, but you know what? He likes watches, and it's a nerdy thing. He's not a god.
All of them, and half of them wrote a song about it.
Man, this guy is unstoppable. But you know what? He likes watches, and you know what? Maybe I can have a better watch than he does, because I know that I'm not going to ever bang as many hot chicks as John Mayer or Ed Sheeran.
Well, then, newsflash: you're not going to get better watches than him either. So don't even.
No,
don't.
But maybe, you know what? I could, if I worked hard enough, grind this YouTube shtick long enough. Maybe I could get a better watch than John Mayer. Or maybe one. I'm not saying entire collection, but maybe I can have one. One better watch.
Zero chance.
Zero chance. Maybe John Mayer someday will give me a watch.
He's now because
I'm a huge fan.
What is the actual title he has, Tim?
Tim, did you just see the AP that they created for him?
Yeah. With the
you're not doing better than that, Timmy. You're not.
Sorry, Buckley. What
is the actual title he took on at AP?
Oh man,
it's creative
director or something.
Conduit or creative. Yeah, it's like creative conduit. It's a really weird name.
Creative conduit. What the fuck is this bullshit? Creative conduit. Never heard of such thing. It's corporate speak on steroids. Let me just really, guys, find the actual name. Put it in the chat if you can find it.
Creative conduit.
Yeah. Creative conduit. I was right. Creative conduit. Yeah. It's like these new HR titles, like Chief Heart Officer. I mean, come on.
Come on, man. That's some bullshit.
So that being said, half of us said, the other half said this is just a normal Hodinkee video. Half of us said the majority of this video was to promote AP. Everyone said, no, it's conspiracy. And then the fucking guy,
but maybe
a few months later,
really like AP.
The video is what, 4 months old, 5 months old?
Months
later, it becomes
5 months.
Okay.
1.5 million views.
2 months later, he becomes creative conduit. Like, come on, please.
Maybe this is the video that conduit is like a receiver, like a magnet. So maybe this is the video that attracted AP to John Mayer. Maybe AP looked at this and said, "Hey, John Mayer seems to be a huge fan of AP. We'll do a collab with him." Exactly. Not everything is cynical.
Interview. This is an AP interview. This is an interview, right?
Yeah.
Interview.
So maybe John Mayer was riding bicycle. But look, John Mayer got an opportunity to do a collab video with Ed Sheeran and have that video be broadcast on Hodinkee, the #1 place for, as they say, #1 place. Imagine if they did this video, if these two guys did this video for WatchBox, there would be no stopping WatchBox. But why are these celebrities helping this sinking company? It's just it begs the
Well,
question.
friend, that's it. Because without the video that he did with Hodinkee, John Mayer's not getting the watches that he's gotten, and vice versa.
Right. I mean, I did see the very first. I went back and watched the very first Talking Watches with John Mayer, where he goes through all his Daytonas. And John's talking about why he fell in love with a lot of these Daytonas, because one had this little conjar thing on it, and one had this. And he was picking like fly shit out of pepper, the minutia, you know. And from that, I was just like, you know what, man, great. He's got a great watch collection, but it just made me not interested in hearing why John Mayer loves watches. Because I didn't find his reasoning or the like sort of the things he finds interesting about watches all that interesting. I just didn't.
Let me just catch up on these super chats real quick. Here we got E. Stewart Hall, $5 super chat. Earth has been warming and cooling. Would you prefer it be cool, Tim? Then what about impeding ice age? Come on, Tim, wake up. Look, I wouldn't like a global cooling either. That would suck as well. I would, if we were, but Stuart, I don't want to, like, if it was a global cooling happening, I would be saying, hey, let's do something about global cooling. I wouldn't be saying, hey, let's not do anything. Let's not do anything and let's just see what happens. Okay. Because that's what E. Stewart Hall is suggesting. Because I'm saying, hey, you know, it's getting hot. Maybe we should listen to some of the guys that know about this. And E. Stewart saying, Tim, what if it was cooling, right? Something's gonna happen. Let's just let it ride. Okay. I mean, look, let's let it ride. Okay, I guess.
Tim, let me suggest this. I think we should start raising money, some super chat money, to enter you into the Iditarod.
What's that?
Look it up.
Okay. Speedy Hernandez. But can somebody put a link in the private chat for it? Speedy Hernandez, $5 super chat. Tim Wright is the best channel for people who don't know anything about watches besides the Daytona and want to stay that way. Boom! Nice one, Speedy. And of course, let me put on the Plenda Daytona that I have here. I got it from the AD, actually. Very lucky 30th birthday gift. What a surprise. Oh, and on the other wrist, the Community Speedmeister on the rubber strap. Let's do a round of let's do what everybody's watch wearing. So there we go. Boom, 2 chronographs. Let's go. Representing the watch community. Brody, what you wearing?
Wearing the VC Moon Phase Retro Date.
Holy crap. Nice.
Yeah. My.
And it's on the rubber strap you got there?
Yeah, I got it on the rubber strap.
Wow.
That watch is really thin, right? Is that true?
It's 10 and a half.
10 and a half. Nice.
Nice.
Thin.
Wow, that is thin. That's thinner than the Daytona. Okay.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's thin.
That's a very cool
like uber thin. It's not single digit thin, but it's like I think 10.4 or something like that.
Very cool. Small G, what are you wearing on the wrist tonight? What kind of watch you got there? You've been tell us about that watch.
Yeah, Jumbo.
The
Aquanaut.
The Jumbo Aquanaut. What's the reference number?
It's 5065.
5065. This is a vintage model. It's not your standard Aquanaut that you could just walk in and buy today. It's it's better, more symmetrical model. What about Buckley? Buckley, you got a camera there, or you're without camera tonight? Oh wait, I'm wearing the Daytona upside down. That's awkward. Okay, Buckley's muted there. He's away from the computer. Good. Rose Paul says when John Mayer has to talk watches without the help and leading questions of Clymer, you realize he's a boring hype collector who writes sucky songs and knows just a few things about a few things. Well, he's just a regular person. Exactly. Rose. He's not like God. I mean, that's the cool thing about John Mayer doing this, right? That he says
Yeah.
like he's connecting to other collectors. He's like, guys, I'm just like you. If you collect watches like Brody, like Buckley over here, like Small G, John Mayer is one of us. He's just another one of us. Cool watch
No.
collectors. No?
No.
No?
No.
No,
I
he's
mean, when it
much
comes to
better than
watches,
us.
yeah, but
watch.
trust me, he lives a very different life than the rest of us.
He has 6 million.
Actually, so I'll agree. I'll agree with everything that Rose said here, except for I should add that he was really good when he toured with Dead and Company over the last few years. I know that ended last year, but his time with Dead and Company, his guitar playing, he was really good. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Small G. By the way, Small G, your membership expired. I don't know. Maybe a credit card got canceled, or maybe you have an old credit card on your thing. I'm just saying your membership. Just so you know, I don't know if you're doing the whole membership thing. You know, everybody wants their icon. They're tracking how many years somebody been. I don't know. If you don't care about that, then don't disregard. Oh my god. That's funny stuff, right? You gotta agree. This membership's so funny. But Brody, it's very cool to have seen Ed Sheeran's collection. Right? Like it is very there's a lot of watches that are extremely expensive that no normal human being can get, but there was some garbage in there, right? There was some watches that you could, like this for example, Hublot. I think you could get one of these on eBay for not a
No,
lot of
I'm
money.
not. Look, they're not. Listen, they have so much money that they're gonna spend a few dollars on shitters when you collect that many watches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's cool.
They both have amazing collections, and it's cool. I would say they generally have good taste in watches. The only thing I'll say is going back to that first video with John Mayer, it was Daytona after Daytona after Daytona, and I'm like, at a certain point, it's not interesting. It's like when any of these places, it could be whether it's WatchBox or Hodinkee, and they get some collector on, and it's like they advertise, oh, come see this guy's 30-year lifetime or whatever Patek collection, and they come out and all you see are 30 Pateks, one after the other. It's a valuable collection, but it's not an interesting collection. It's boring as fuck. That's just my opinion. I mean, Pateks are cool, but I mean, is a 30 watch Patek collection interesting? No, it's not an interesting collection. Sorry.
You know what I think we should do here on the Tim Wright Show is rate some collections. Okay, we need to rate who is the top watch collector in the world. I think that's an important question.
It's hard to know. I mean, do you know everybody's collections?
I don't.
We know some of them.
But you know what? Right here, we got Ed Sheeran's collection. We could now establish a baseline. Okay, we've got Ed Sheeran. We can scour the internet and see what other collectors, like top collectors, have in their collections, and I think we should rate like who is number one collector. I think the community deserves to know, right? I mean, this Ed Sheeran collection is pretty fire. I thought.
Tim, have you ever seen any of those videos either on Instagram or on Reels or whatever that come through on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but those things end up on Instagram somehow. Of like these Arab sheiks, and they walk into this like walk-in vault, and they start opening these drawers, and it's just these incredible. I mean, just
There's some
drawers
ultra
full
collected,
of
but Brody,
drawers full of pieces, dude. Those are
but
the best
having every
collections in the
single
world.
watch is not it's not like I would say someone who curates their collection, if they have a smaller, more impactful collect, because it's easy to just add watches, right? It's, I think, watches that you gave up, right? Gave up having in your collection because you have alternative pieces is a really good quality of a collector. So I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, because this guy, this Arab sheik, because he has so much money, more than God himself, he can buy every single watch. That doesn't make him a great collector. It does make him a impactful
Right.
collector, because him buying those watches keeps the industry running, and I appreciate him doing that. I think it's
Right, but
kind of Swiss.
Right, but I mean, I sort of put Ed Sheeran and John Mayer in that category too. They can pretty much get whatever watch they want. Just
No,
about,
I don't think
right?
Ed Sheeran. Well, how rich? Well, Ed Sheeran is ultra rich, right?
They could have
Ed Sheeran and John Mayer can pretty much get any watch they want.
any
right?
watch they want, they could get.
Right. So
Well,
the more
look,
interesting, the more interesting thing to do is who has.
Yeah, but
who
it's
has
not. But for
no,
these guys, hold on a second. For these
who
guys,
has no
it's not
access.
about how much they spent on the watch. It's what else they did to get the watch. For them, the story matters, I think, more than, because like you said, like Buckley. Okay, so they can afford it, right? But then when you can afford anything, then you start putting different challenges in front of yourself.
No, that's not what I mean. Any brand will give them any of the hardest watches ever. It doesn't matter what brand. If they start going RM, they'll get the RMs. If they call up Resheppi, they'll get a Resheppi.
Right. So to me, what's more, so they have access and the money. So what to me is more interesting is somebody who doesn't have that kind of access and has. I mean, you have to have some money, obviously, to have a really, really nice collection. But somebody who's got some money and not a lot of access, or only very limited access, what kind of collection has that person built? That's more interesting. What you can actually do kind of on your own without the kind of, like I say, access and funds that they have. So it's interesting to look at wealthy people's watch collections, but at a certain point in time, you could just go to the Patek catalog or the AP catalog and look at them, and you'll see what they collect. It's all there.
Okay. Yeah, but that's why they want the custom watches from AP, because AP, and they know that they can get anything in the available catalog. That's why I think AP is cooperating, and they made a one-of-one piece for Ed Sheeran to celebrate his album. Yeah.
Right. And it's not surprising they made a limited 200-piece collection for John Mayer that none of us will probably ever see in the wild, right? I mean, they're not going to do a regular production piece that John Mayer designs for AP that even sort of somewhat regular people have a chance of getting.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just, I don't know. And then some of the watches that some of these brands make are, it's a little bit off topic here, but it's like the Louis Vuitton pieces that just came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I call those Fashion Week, runway pieces. Those are pieces that are made. Those are pieces that are made just for other people in the watch industry to look at. Nobody's ever going to really want to buy them or wear them, and you'll never see them on the street because they're kind of wild looking. And, that's the kind of thing they do at Fashion Week, right? People, the models walk down the runway in these outrageous outfits, and they never put them in the store because regular people aren't going to buy them.
Yeah, those are just for the celebrities. Those are one-of-one.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is really, frankly, unfucking interesting to me. It just is.
But it is kind of like some of that stuff is where the designers meet and where they draw inspiration from each other. It's kind of a
please give me. I
overlap.
understand. I understand, but it's just for them to show off to other people in the industry. It isn't for us. So I'm not interested in it because even if I had the money, I would never buy that garbage.
Yeah, I agree. The fact that Hodinkee is gonna like come in and try to pretend like that Louis Vuitton is a good watch is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they're gonna all these magazines are gonna write what amazing pieces they are and all that, and I'm like,
Well, that's what they do. That's why Louis Vuitton bought a part of Hodinkee, so they could have editorial direction, right? So they could influence editorial direction. And I mean, that's how the history is written. I mean, we're witnessing how history is being written, and it's being written by winners who have influence. And well, for those people who thought, well, Louis Vuitton is never going to be a respected watchmaker, just watch.
They're still not. They're still not.
Well, just watch.
The problem is the price.
And the one piece they made that's mainstream enough, the new tambour, you can't even try them on in the boutiques, in their stores. They don't even have them. What's the fucking point?
Well, they're making it rare. It's hard to get. They're doing what the collectors want, making it hard to get.
The collectors don't know what they want.
This is like you know why the movie The Thing was so effective. It's because the big
Kurt
part.
Russell was in it. Why?
No, because and also Alien. Think about Alien the movie. Why is Alien the movie so terrifying, so like so scary, why is it a good movie? It's good movie because they didn't show the alien right away, and they're not having him, everywhere. This is they want to build up hype, and you want to build up hype by keeping the watch, because when you see a watch, that's it. You cannot unsee it. You've seen it already. And Louis Vuitton hiding these watches away and making you not see it. They want to build up that anticipation. They want to make you kind of go out and actually ask for it. They want you to ask for it. You understand? They don't want to just have it out in the open for anyone. They want you to say, hey, where's the tambour? And they'll say, follow us in the back.
No, that's not what happened. I've been to the Beverly Hills store. I've walked in and I said, hey, you guys have any tambours? They said, sorry, we don't at this location. And I walked out. I mean, you got to strike while the iron's hot. They released this watch. It got really, really good reviews. Everybody was really impressed with, this next step that they're doing in the mainstream high horology watchmaking that's going to be available to the public. Now they're not going to roll it out. The same people who were willing to spend money on that watch are going to go spend that same money on a different watch, and they're not going to go back and buy the tambour.
No, but they're buying respect.
The moment. It's
Louis
over,
Vuitton
Tim. It's over for this watch, Tim. It's over.
Think, Brody, I think Louis Vuitton is playing the long game here, right? I think they're not looking to sell these watches. They're they're building their reputation, and reputation is not built. Look what happens when watches are readily available. You don't want if anybody can walk in, and that's what happens in Bulgari. If you walk into Bulgari, they got every watch there on display. You can choose anything you want to your heart's content. And that doesn't, it's not a good look. It's not a look of luxury, right? Hermes Birkin bags. You walk in Hermes, they don't have them. They never have them, but somehow everybody has one. And they're kind of I think Louis Vuitton is going to play the same thing. Like, you have to be a customer for them to first show you this watch. And they'll, if you were a customer of theirs, they would probably tell you, hey, by the way, we have this tambour that we can show you.
Tim, here's a little secret.
They're playing hard to get.
This isn't a Birkin bag, and trying to treat it like it's a Birkin bag before they even roll it out is like their first real good watch in, 20 years.
But look how Code 1159 was launched. It was launched with every single watch available. They were dumped in the windows, and people looked at them and were like, "Yeah, ew, we don't want it."
Yeah,
right?
Because they didn't like the design.
What the same thing with this thing? Because they showed the design too fast. They showed all the designs too quickly, and people looked at it and they were like, okay, we hate it because they were shown, like, it's like the presentation is key. How you present things could make or break a product. Sometimes people like how things was presented more than what that thing really is. If something is presented as hard to get to see in real life,
Yeah, I
people
agree.
will want it more than some cheap $2, somebody who just shows themselves very quickly for
by the time this hits the shelves, it'll be old news, and they've lost the moment.
I think they're gonna keep hiding this. Like, Louis Vuitton is not in shortage of customers. I think they're really.
This isn't.
And this is the vibe I got, Brody.
The hype over this watch is over. It's over before they even got him into the display cases.
But they're not playing it like it's over. It's not like they gave up and putting this watch into the cupboard for everybody to see it. They just probably cut production in the background and they're working on other stuff. But they're still making this watch tough to see. They're not having it like in the display window.
Other better watches
they're playing the game.
The same money are going to keep coming out, and that money's going elsewhere. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I think
there's a lot of people that were going to buy this watch are not watch collectors. They're one and doneers, because Louis Vuitton isn't known to be a watch for watch collectors. It's like it's a fashion watch for one-time buys for somebody who's got 1, 2, maybe 3 pieces. That's it, and they're putting that money elsewhere. It's over.
Well, I mean, this is the kind of collector that you want to buy,
this
because look,
this is a collector's piece. It isn't.
Watch and they're gonna, well, hold on, but I think Louis Vuitton is playing a long game here, Brody. This is how you want your watch to go into the hands of someone who will buy it and keep it forever, and then pass it on to their kids. Louis Vuitton is not looking. They know they're not going to transform collectors' opinion overnight. They know that they're going to transform it in the long term by putting their watches. These watches actually freaking stunning. These are bangers, and they're putting these amazing watches into people who are not going to resell them. They're going to keep them forever. Yes, maybe right now this watch doesn't look that great, but in 30 years, when this watch gets inherited by next generation, maybe opinions will have changed, and people will look back to these years and say, well, look at this. Look what Louis Vuitton was making. Right? And they'll bring.
We'll see. Timmy, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And like, I'm not just saying this because I'm just making this stuff up. I was in Dubai Watch Week. Jean Arnault was there. They were giving a speech. Right? I got a chance to kind of overhear some conversations and see the passion that Jean Arnault actually has for watches. And I'm telling you, this guy wants to make Louis Vuitton a legitimate watch manufacturer.
I know he does, Tim, but the worst thing you could do is announce a watch and not let it hit the display cases for another. It's been a year already, Tim.
I think they're playing hard to get. They're playing hard to get. That's what collectors want. That's what
it's been a year, and it's still not in the Beverly Hills store. Hills, dude.
Yes, they'll make you wait. They
store.
might never release this watch. Actually, they might release a new model, and this color will be really sought after. Who knows? Like, they're playing tough to get. They're playing like, hey, we're not gonna let you see this watch. They're like that sexy girlfriend that everybody talks about, but nobody ever seen.
The Louis Vuitton, they don't have any watches in the Beverly Hills store. It's crazy.
The thing is, Brody, when you see this watch, it's gonna take your breath away.
No, I'm sure it's a nice watch. I'm not interested in it.
Hey,
I think it's a good looking watch. I'm not interested in it because I would rather put my money in other pieces, not because I dislike this piece. And I'm just saying that there's a lot of people that like this piece, that whatever it is, 22 grand or whatever it is, I forgot, would have bought this watch at the time. And, trust me, when it comes out in another 6 months or a year, it's 2 years. That person spent that 20 grand on something else. They just have. Not everybody's got unlimited money,
But, yeah, that's true.
So, and I think that people with unlimited money
Mm-hmm.
People that have unlimited money. This is not. Those are people that collect and have unlimited money. I don't think collectors view this as really much of a collection piece, frankly.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Not yet, but that opinion could change and transform depending on what moves Louis Vuitton makes in watch space. If they continue to make incredible pieces, they will continue gain respect among collectors.
Yeah, but the brand Louis Vuitton is not a place where any respected collector steps foot in these days.
No. Reshep collaborated. Reshep is one of the most respected watchmakers in in the wristwatch space, in independent wristwatch space, did a collab with Louis Vuitton. This is them shaking hands. This is Reshep lending some of his credibility over to Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, and I that's not what I said. I said the people that collect watches at a high level do not go to a Louis Vuitton store to buy Louis Vuitton merchandise. 99% of them. Maybe there's 1% who do. The watch boxes are cool. You can customize them, whatever. I get it. It's cool, right? They make a few belts that are nice. They make a loafer maybe. But 99% of that store these days is not a place that I could ever imagine anybody in that community of Ben Clymers, right? Watch Time New York Cities and guys like Sean and guys like George Voorhees and whoever, they're not going into Louis Vuitton and buying anything.
Do you know what Louis Vuitton sells the most of, Tim? You know what they dominate the market in the way Rolex dominates the watch market?
What is it in the bags?
Handbags. They have 20% of the luxury handbag market.
Yeah.
They are the Rolex of the handbag market. That's what Louis Vuitton is.
Yes, and they did it with the Louis Vuitton with the bags, and they think they can do it with watches. They have a proven formula.
But Tim, they're not going to connect with regular people buyers by rolling out these real high-end, like what I said before, runway fashion sort of week watches like they just did last week.
It's not really runway fashion. Look at that one.
But what do they follow us up with, Tim?
Let me show you what it followed. They followed it up with classy art pieces. Didn't you see this? Their latest releases.
That's what I'm talking about. Pull them up. Okay,
here we go. They're like they did like what Vacheron Cabinetier does.
I know it's the Lemaitres, right? But
so Tim, this one was from last year. Okay, I agree. That one was tacky, but this new one, that looks like that glass.
This is not, but it's yeah.
You know, in churches there are those glass. What was it called when you have this colorful glass window?
Stained glass.
Okay, this Louis Vuitton watch looks like a stained glass church window. This is a piece of art. And look the way those lines go in, and then if you see here, if you connect when tourbillon is at certain angle, this line connects.
What's the price?
I think it's $250,000.
$250,000. Do you know what you could do with $250,000 on the watch market with Patek and Montblanc?
I think they're competing against like paintings, like art paintings.
No, they're not fucking competing against paintings. It's just stupidity.
Look at this. But Patek charges similar prices for their works of art,
which is better than that garbage.
I don't think it's that.
It's a Patek Philippe. It's a Patek Philippe.
This is it's showing their chops and the ability to make a high horology watch, but it doesn't have any sort of street level appeal to wear, even for kind of rich people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what. I'm sorry, Tim. That's not what people want to wear. I know, but that's not. But Patek doesn't advertise that. Patek's got a whole collection of desirable pieces, and they have that, more readily available than this stuff. This is
I
I'm just
think this
saying, Louis Vuitton doesn't even have a regular collection for regular people to buy, and already they're coming out with these sort of one-offs.
but
That's
this is a
not going
big
to.
departure
That's
from their
not going to create
previous
mass
stuff.
appeal. That's
But
not
bro,
going to create mass appeal.
no, I think this is they're trying to appeal to the mega watch buyers.
They're high. They're high. They're not going to get those.
Yeah, they're high. Then they're high.
They're
They
not-
should have rolled out. They should have been ready to roll out that new tambour and got it going, and then slowly did some more interesting things with the same model.
Yeah.
Create a travel time, do some other sort of complications with it. Then, work on some other colors, do some interesting materials like everybody else is doing. Instead, they come up with these high art pieces that they're going to make one of, and it's, that's not going to make people
But look,
interested
they're
in
also
buying
at
a
the
watch
same
from
time,
them.
they're
It's just
bringing
not.
back Daniel Roth. They're bringing back Daniel Roth. See here, you
Right.
can see it here. They're bringing back that brand. They're bringing back Gerald Genta, Mickey Mouse watches. They're bringing back those retrograde fun pieces. They're like reviving stuff actively, and these new, for example, like these Gerald. What's this brand? What
Gerald Charles?
No, it's not Gerald Charles. Daniel Roth. Sorry, Daniel Roth.
Daniel Roth.
They're doing an incredible job with Daniel Roth. Like the refresh of the Daniel Roth, high class. That's like
Right, I understand, but
competitor
those are
right up
all.
there
But those
with
are all. Tim, those are all dress pieces. The tambour had a chance to be their sport piece, and it seems like from a retail perspective, I'm sure they haven't abandoned it, but it seems like they've abandoned it. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Sean, by the way, let me just read your super chat here. Timmy, I doubt you would exchange your Daytona or Grossman with the LV. I agree with Brody. By the way, you missed my last super chat. Shit. Sorry. Brody, love the imagination comment. Reality is this Timmy's world, and we just live in it. We are the decoration. Well, I pay attention to this watch market space more.
By
I
the way,
think
that's a great shot of Sean. That
Sean,
that's
you're muted.
awesome.
By the way, if you were trying to,
Thank you, brother. Hey guys, how are you? I'm having a poor connection, man. I'm enjoying this view, and once in a while, Timmy gets me going, so I have to jump on. What Louis Vuitton is appealing to is new money. It's not old money that buys the Patek. It's not the old Patek.
No,
but Sean, you're cutting out.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sean, but with with these custom one pieces, they kind of try to appeal to old money. This is art stuff. This is old money people like this. Look at this guilloche. Maybe with this, they're trying to.
Sean.
The tambour definitely. Those are for flexers, I think. Kind of the timepiece gentlemen of the world, right? That's the
Did we lose
tambour.
Sean?
No,
Sean.
I just got back on. Yeah, so the Patek family, the Patek, has their own buyers, and those are the ones that they cater to. Those are the ones that they care. The generational buyers. That's not who's going to buy this Louis Vuitton.
Yeah,
that's my piece on that, right? Those people will buy quiet. Those people will buy quiet luxury. They'll buy brands that are not flashy. The people that buy Louis Vuitton, Louis Vuitton has beautiful bags and all that, but the ultra rich don't want to buy a loud luxury like that. They'll buy stuff that across the room just the select people would know what's on their wrist or on their, or what's on their, what handbag they have. The Louis Vuitton has become the secretary's brand. It has become a common brand. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I mean, they work as hard as anybody else. But in the ultra rich, nose in the air world, a Louis Vuitton does not carry the cachet that it used to be.
Oh yes, I think because of the competition between Celine and Yves Saint Laurent and even Miu Miu, Hermes obviously dominating with the Birkin. They're the top brand, but it's like LV. They're fighting furiously, but they've been making good stuff. LV has been consistently dominating in fashion. They have never been out of like they've never been
Tim,
uh
they're the largest luxury conglomerate in the world.
Yeah.
There's a reason Arnault is routinely one of the top 5 richest guys in the world.
Can
No
I ask
question
you a
about it.
question? With all the money and resource he has, yeah, and if they really want to jump into the watch market and they want to create what do you call it, create an offer that ultra rich watch to the market, why wouldn't they establish a different brand, or why wouldn't they go a different direction than attaching that $250,000?
It's about ego. It's all about ego. They want to have their name because it's all about. They don't want to buy somebody else's brand and promote their name. They want their family name to be on the product. Their family.
I think if anything, they're bringing that watch into the market to give a little bit more luster visibility for the Louis Vuitton brand, so they still more bad and best.
Damn, you're cutting out, Sean.
I think that's where I'm. Sorry.
You know why he's cutting out? Because he's got terrible service on his private island.
Yeah. Thanks, Sean. Hello. Are you back? Dang. By the way, guys, if you want to know what my channel looks like to a normal person from outsider's perspective, go watch. I dropped the link to a video that Once More Onto the Breach made, and he basically kind of describes what my channel is all about, but like not from what I think it is, but from someone coming from outside. It's a great video. He describes it really well. Anyways, go check it out. Subscribe to him. He's also a watch YouTuber, or he dabbles in the commentary here on the wristwatch space. Anyways, yeah, I think. Any final thoughts? I think we did a good show. I think I don't want to drag it out too much because we were on a very succinct topic. We tackled it. We discussed it. We broke it down. And I think we're gonna see how this all plays out. Tim Maso firing shots. Do you think? Yeah, we're gonna go do a little bit of an after show. I'm gonna drop the link. By the way, Buckley, to your question, what do you think the interview between Ed Sheeran and John Mayer? How did that interview go between those two guys? We got the results from the watch community. We had almost 100 people vote. 44% thought that it was a good interview. Well, 47%, so the majority thought that it was an ad for AP. So, okay, I could see how that looked, but only 9% thought it was bad. Sometimes people like watching commercials, you know.
It was fine. It wasn't bad, but it was most certainly, especially now that we find out he launches a watch and then becomes creative conduit. It was
it all falls into place. It's almost like it was premeditated, like it's all business for these guys.
Look, the guy he's become the most influential celebrity watch collector ever. That's John Mayer. He's become the guy.
Yep.
And to his left-hand side, he had one of the top 5 guys ever, maybe. Right now, maybe. I don't know. Definitely top 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
They started out wearing APs. They talked about piece unique APs. And at the end, they go together and they get APs, which means out of the Holy Trinity, AP got the top guy. That's all the video was about, is that the top people of the top, they're going AP. That's what they were trying to portray. The ad is, if you're a hype chaser, if you're a crazy collector, you go AP. You can stop along the way and you can hang out at Patek, sure. But that is not what this video was trying to say, because John Mayer has been hired by AP.
Oh, you know what? That's also explains why Tim Maso threw shade at AP, because WatchBox is with the Bethune, but AP is very heavily collaborating with Hodinkee. Now that makes sense. Let's see here.
Anybody who watched the video in detail could tell. And like, I don't mind it. I like it. Everyone knows I like AP. I like the watches. I don't mind it. The video was decent, but let's not sit here and think these guys were doing anything else. Certainly not John Mayer.
What is JCB?
Jean-Claude Biver.
Oh, stopping by for a yearly interview with Jean-Claude Biver or whoever is the CEO at AP these days isn't enough. This one video to promote AP, while it's
No, it's not Jean-Claude Biver. It's the Benny Hanna guy was the CEO.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. It's gotten a little bit weird. I mean, they're acknowledging who the top dog is, and that's John Mayer. And it's strange to me that the Holy Trinity is bringing a celebrity on board and doing like, I mean, frankly, it's like,
is John Mayer the top collector?
That's what they're. I mean, that's essentially what this is saying. Is he's the top collector and they're the top brand. That's. I mean, that's what it is. He's the top collector and they're the top brand. That's what they're trying to say. I don't know if it's true, right? But that is what that video was trying to say, and that's what they're doing now. I just think it's a little bit weird. The watch he made is beautiful. I don't think it says John Mayer anywhere on it. Thank God. It's a ridiculously looking AP, but it is a little bit weird that the Holy Trinity is a brand in the Holy Trinity that's doing that. I mean, wouldn't that be kind of weird? Like, isn't that weird to anybody else? Like, if Patek Philippe tomorrow made like a watch with a race car driver, like, wouldn't you think it's a little bit cheesy? I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, I just got a $100 PayPal donation towards the channel to do a 1 month recap of all the action that has happened in the past month. Does anybody want to help me out? Let's start out with the Mike and Josh. About a month ago, Mike and Josh have been basically started paying the consigners. We got that. That was 1 month ago that was started. And okay, so we'll go back from a month ago.
That's a lot. That's a lot to try to recap.
Then we had Storage Wars. Timepiece Gentleman's storage locker was going to go on for sale, and then somebody in the last minute paid for the locker, right? Then we had my birthday. Then Timepiece Gentleman was featured in New York Times. We went over that. Then we went to an event at Zenith, and we met some cool friends there. Then we had the new Piaget launched. After the Piaget, we had new Zenith in titanium. We had some watch talk there. We did predictions for Rolex, what's going to be released in 2024, and we're coming up. So we're going to have that released very, very soon. Then we had Taylor Swift win the Super Bowl. We took a look at, this is in 1 month. This is the action-packed month.
Tim, Taylor Swift won the Super Bowl?
That's right, yeah.
I mean, he's kind of right.
Yeah, go watch the show. That's actually what happened.
Buckley is vomiting off camera right now.
It's sort of true, though. I mean,
it's so, you're right. It's so gross. Oh my God.
It is sort of what happened.
Then we had That Watch Guy London go head to head against That Watch Guy UK. 2 channels battling over the time slot. Then Roman Sharf bought a pair of Trump shoes for $9,000. One of the most ridiculous thing of all time. And then after that, Roman Sharp even went to Mar-a-Lago, and Roman Sharp was featured in New York Times for buying this pair of shoes. Then I went to the city, met up with Marcus of Perpetual Time Studios, where we're talking about some stuff, some films in the watch space. Then Andrew Morgan quit Watchfinder. After that, I bought an Explorer 1, and then traveled to Florida and sold it to one of the viewers because I couldn't afford it. Then
Flipper.
yeah, well, I couldn't. I look, it's a tool collector, and I might buy it back in the future if channel starts working well again. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get it back. Okay,
The
I'll
same
buy it
one. You
again.
just won't go buy it. Why not just go buy a new one?
And I was accused of being a flipper. Exactly what you're saying. Then after that, some scumbags took down That Watch Guy UK channel. After that, they were in war against That Watch Guy London, who tried to come back and pretend like they never left the time slot, like as if they didn't say these words, which I'm gonna play.
Monday night show, we are giving up our time slot. 4 to 6 weeks later. There's been certain assertions put across that we've given up this and we've given up that. We never gave up anything.
What the hell? Yeah, yes, you did give up. We have you on the record, right? Like there's a lot of nonsense there about giving up time slot. Anyways, we rebuilt. We created a new channel called the UK Watch Community, where Alan, Alex, Red Shovel, and Mothred are now heading that new channel. And we did some investigation on who tried to assassinate the channel. Then the new White Dial Speedmaster came out. And then after that, we found out that Mike and Josh and the elephants from the Woven are in a lawsuit. Apparently, it was the Woven guys who've been holding up the repayment money to the victims of the robbery that was involved in insurance. And apparently, the elephants want basically insurance to pay them for the watches that Mike and Josh were wearing. Like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they want to do that? And then after that, we had the Oscars, and then Paul, basically Vinny came onto the live stream with us and talked about the digital watch vault and its fatal flaws, and we had a couple of back and forth with Paul Thorpe. There you go. That's a past month. That's all the stuff that happened on the Tim Wright channel in the past month. Incredible stuff, right?
It's a lot.
It's a lot of stuff, right? Jesus. It's like Game of Thrones over here.
Are you Peter Dinklage?
I don't know who I am. I thought I was Jon Snow because I was killed and then I was brought back. And I thought AC3 was Daenerys Targaryen because I slept with him in the same bed. Ew. In retrospect. Yeah. That's the show. That's the recap. Tune in for another exciting episode of Talking Watches with Tim Wright. What's the music? Good show. Guys, the game of watches continues to fight for who's the top dog of the industry. Who's the respected watch collector, watch influencer in the space? Is it Tim Maso? Is it Ben Clymer? Is it Waco? You tell me. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. The war continues.